Man, if that doesn't get you ready to talk some Star Trek, I don't think you've ever watched Star Trek. Oh my god, I love that so much, and of course, I owe it all to our magnificent, extraordinary, the greatest first officer in the fleet. She may be a changeling though, because she could be a Vulcan, she could be an Andorian, a human. We don't know. We don't know all of her deep secrets, but she is, of course, the extraordinary, the beautiful, and the magnificent Raquel Briggs. Hello, number one.
I love you. You know, it's pretty easy to be a good first officer when you have the best jam captain in the whole fleet. I love you, Clubby. It's only been a couple of days
but I missed you.
Since we've done the Global Geek Gang, and yet I still miss you.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean? I could spend every day with you.
Thank you so much. You are the best. And you know what? You know who else is cool to hang out with?
Who?
Our chat.
Yeah. Did you see that comment really, really high up? I think it was J-Man. Do you know that J-Man's already started watching The Prisoner without me? I told everyone to wait. I needed to finish. I needed to finish Farscape.
The Prisoner 2011. Oh. No, dude. I mean, because we were just talking about The Prisoner the other night and that wonderful gift that the great Purple got me. I've done it a million times. I went back, just started watching it again. And we'll take
you guys should have waited for me. You and Jaden.
It doesn't matter. I know them all by heart anyway. So yeah, I cannot wait till you get to see it.
Yeah, I know. I'm very excited.
Oh man, I love. Oh god, I just get so back into it there. But we have look, everyone. This is it. This is the big party because this is the big finale. This is it, the final 5 of Star Trek, the original series, and we will miss it. We'll never really miss it because we'll always go back to it, but this is when we say goodbye to the original series, and we move on to the next phase in our ongoing 735 mission of reviewing all of real Star Trek. That is, of course, real 1966 to 2005 only, because nothing else is Star Trek. Original series, we'll finish that up tonight. And we'll start with the animated series, the original crew films, TNG, DS9, Voy, and Ent. And we're going to do all the real deal stuff. So I can't wait. I can't wait. Before we get to a show note and then get on, I will say some hellos to our fantastic chat because you guys make it so much fun for us. Welcome to the great Phantom Outsider.
Woo!
Hey. The extraordinary Felicianos are here tonight. Yeah. Raymond and Sandra. Welcome, my friends.
Good evening, fine folks. We love you.
Indeed. Elagabalus is here. Hey, Elaga. I'm getting a little bit better at that. I'm going to keep working on Elagabalus. Elagabalus, don't give up on me. I'm trying. I'm getting there. Big shout out to the great Lord Thoth.
LT! Long live the Legion!
Avon lives and long live the Legion. Excuse me. Again, sorry, everyone. It always happens when you're on, doesn't it? When you're on here, it just always comes up on you. Snortapoopus Cuber.
Snortapoopus
is a good bear. Is a good bear. That's what I should say.
He's a very good bear. He has icy tears because he does not want TOS to be over. I'm sorry, Snorty.
Indeed, we never want it to be over. By the way, Lord Thoth, again, I mentioned this to you last night. One of the show notes, because I'm going to forget it if I don't do it now. I can't wait. In the morning, I'm going to be streaming all day again tomorrow, so I've been streaming a lot. In the morning, I don't know if it's going to be recorded in the morning and go out live or not. I haven't got the confirmation. I'm not clear on that yet. But if you're all familiar with the Space Book, which is a cool channel run by a good dude named Dan Headley. It's a British channel. I love a lot of things almost on the level of Star Trek. As we mentioned, The Prisoner. I also dearly love the brilliant Blake Seven show, series Blake Seven, science fiction series from the BBC. And I'm going to be on it. I'm so thrilled they have asked me to be on a show tomorrow to talk all things Blake Seven. And I can run my stupid mouth off about that with the best of them because I've watched it as much as I've watched Trek or The Prisoner. So, and I can't wait. That's tomorrow morning, but I'll fill in the details later. But I wanted to say that before I forgot about it. This is one show note. We will continue to our hellos here. I can't wait to do that. I'm so happy because you can find a lot of people to talk Trek about. You can't find anyone to talk Blake 7 with about. So I'm happy.
Yeah.
We have someone who had popped in recently, and has come on and has said this. She's just popping in again for maybe the second or third time, and I'm so happy to see you, Janet from another planet.
Hey,
welcome
Janet.
to you. And does anyone ever say to you, "Damn it, Janet"? Rocky Horror reference. Sorry.
No, I think about that interplanet Janet is a galaxy girl. That's what I think of.
Oh, there you go.
From the Sunday morning cartoons.
Oh, I don't know that one, but excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. The great Mark D with a C.
Yes, Mark.
I think he's out on the road somewhere with his family, and then
he is.
But he's out there somewhere. Hey, brother.
We love you.
When he can. Love you there, bro. Good to see you. Also, D. Bud Martin, my good friend. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you. He's a good bud of the show now. As soon as I'm able to, I will. He says wants me to post a link for the Blake 7 chat. I will try. I got to find out what the deal is on it, whether it airs live or whatever. But D. Bud, I'll get that to you. I didn't know you were a Blake 7 fan. Love it. There are a few of us. Not many. That's what they kind of wanted to talk about it from a U.S. point of view, because it's such a British show. It's not even really ever available over here anymore. It hadn't been since the 80s and 90s. So the great Steve Mitchell.
Oh yes, and Maddie's there in the background, and I'm sending kisses to the cutest baby on YouTube.
Indeed. Hey, love you, Maddie. We got our buddy Ash says, "Hey Ash, what's up, brother? Can't stay tonight, but just wanted to pop in. Wish you all well and hope it's a great live stream. Thank you. Love you all, Trek. Yeah, hey, we love you, brother. And we know how that goes sometimes, buddy.
Yes.
And we'll miss your Esh picks, but
yes.
It's great to see you. And we'll catch you next time, bro. We understand how that goes, man. But we love you, buddy. So there you go. The great Ash, everyone. And also my great buddy Problem Being.
Oh, wonderful.
Another Blake 7 fan as well. Probby. Good to see you, Probby. We've done a couple of shows together, and and later I came up with that's where Clobby comes from. The Clobby and Probby show we call it.
I thought I invented calling you Clobby. You were calling you have Clobby and Probby?
The Clobby and Probby show.
Well, it's the natural place to go. If you're gonna either be like Clobberin, Problem, or you're gonna be like Clobby, Probby. So we think alike.
I don't know what took me so long to come up with that one, but it was only just relatively recently. And they call him Scuba Pete. Scuba Pete.
Oh, Ironcaster says problem, Clobberin. Man,
problem Clobberin. Hey, Ironcaster, I like the way you think, buddy. Good to see you, Ironcaster, our new friend, Ironcaster.
Scuba Pete!
And they call him Scuba Pete. And again, as you mentioned earlier, J-Man.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure to see you, my friend. He has a cool channel. Of course, his link and links to many other channels below of great YouTubers and friends are in my description below, my friend, everyone. So please go check that out. Master of fantastic wrenches is here, the great Chris Persia. Hello, my friend.
Liger fan says, I vote for It's Probably Clobby.
Oh, my goodness. Nice.
Well, Liger fan, you have come to the land of pun. It's how Clobby wound up with about 10 million nicknames. Of course, I'm exaggerating, but yes.
Hail, Liger fan. Thank you for being here, brother. The great Rod Thunderheart. Hey, bud. Appreciate you. Great to see you.
Rod's here?
Rod is
so
here.
Nice to see you, Rod.
Another fantastic, just great buddy. Always seeing him all over the place now, and he's a fellow Lausianian, as we call it, Lausianian. The great Pat S. Pat, hey, buddy.
Love Pat S.
Oh, Pat's the man.
Really great company.
Indeed. And again, thanks for being here, Ironcaster. And no one, you're always someone to me. You were here. Now, I don't know I think I got everyone because I'm trying to stay ahead of that, but we're going to get started in a sec here. We got a lot of ground to cover, but I just wanted to get that done here. And again, tomorrow, the Blake 7 thing with Facebook. I don't have all the info on it yet. I'm sorry. I'll try to get that. Monday night, Mark C. Comics Talk. The beautiful and the magnificent Purple Valkyrie will join me. We'll do part 2 of Bring On the Bad Guys, talking about comic book villains. Yes, we had a lot of fun doing it a few weeks back. or whatever that was, and we will be doing it again because a lot of people told us, well, you guys didn't cover everything. So, well, there are a lot of supervillains out there in comics. I mean, so we'll probably only scratch the surface again, but we'll have some fun doing it. Yep. So, yes, that will be Monday night, 8 p.m. Central, same bat time, same bat channel there, everyone. Indeed, it's just, yes, let's see if we, and I hope we got everyone because we're about to leave orbit.
We are.
Yes, indeed.
And if we missed you, please forgive us. Because we don't mean to miss you. Each and every single one of you is important to us, whether you're in the live chat or you're listening to this as a podcast. Welcome, and thank you so much for supporting this channel and this show.
Absolutely, and I think I was able to get everyone, but if I didn't, oh, hey, got to trust. Yep, fish. Oh yeah, man, I do those Blake 7 books that you posted pictures of. Probably, my God, man, I gotta find a way to get those over here from somehow. I want them those. I think those annuals or whatever. Oh my God, man, those are great. But anyway, this is Star Trek night. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, let's see here. Everyone, of course, we're about to get started with our episodes. We have 5 of them tonight. We're going to end up with 5 as we did 5 last week. And my first officer now will take the floor and explain her source for her text while I get pictures and things like that. And but proceed, take us out of orbit, number 1.
Well, thank you, Captain. So if you're listening at home on a podcast and you haven't joined us for the live chat, there is an image on the screen right now of a book called Star Trek 365, the original series. It's written by Paula M. Block and her husband, Terry J. Erdman. This book has been christened by DC Fontana, and it's one of the reasons why we're using it. If you are a hardcore Trekkie, you realize that in Web 2.0, we have seen a huge influx of user-generated content in the knowledge bases for Star Trek, certainly especially Memory Alpha. And so sometimes there are quite a few layers of fan lore in there, and many times it's incorrect or it's exaggerated or it's just not based in any kind of fact, and facts become factoids. So here we're using this lovely book because it is very summary short. So it's not so long that I'm reading an entire book to you. It's just short enough that we can get those verified production notes, a tiny bit of summary, and perhaps some behind the scenes that you may or may have not heard before. And then Clobby and I together, we probably represent 70 or 80 years of Star Trek between the two of us. We infill it with what we know about the episodes, what we love about the episodes. And then our wonderful 735 Club, that's what I call our chat, we're just chock full of nerds here. So these wonderful nerds and geeks also bring their stock of knowledge to this. And we try and cover as much as we possibly can from each episode. We're doing this every single week. Every Saturday night we do this to celebrate 1966, technically 1964, but 1966 to 2005 Star Trek. And this is the only Star Trek, and all other is filth.
Yes.
The contents of a baby diaper. So we're going to pass on that stuff, and we're just going to stick with the good stuff.
Indeed. By the way, Brad Fisher, welcome.
Hey, Brad's here. Welcome, Brad.
Welcome indeed, Brad. Yes, indeed. So, well, oh boy, let's get started with our first episode of the night, folks.
Yeah, well, we're doing 5 because we're at the end. Okay, yes. There are only 79 episodes of TOS, or the original series, if you're unfamiliar with that term. So tonight we're going to start off with The Way to Eden. If you're watching this at home on a streaming service, it should appear to you as Season 3, Episode 20, which is likely its broadcasting order, depending upon whether or not your streaming service includes The Cage. And then the book, which we're using, goes in the production order, the order in which these episodes were made. And so it will come as no surprise to you that we are on prod code 75. So I can't believe we've done 75. Can you believe how far we've come, folks? So if you're
Wow.
following along with us in the block text, and many of you have purchased the block text or actually owned it before, if you're following along, we are on tile 331, 332. And the reason why we call it a tile is because this is the oddest book I've ever seen in my life. And Clobby calls it a brick. And that's exactly what it looks like, a brick, which is hysterical because the author's last name is Block. And it's almost impossible to read without cracking the spine proper. It is sewn, but I don't recommend reading this book cover to cover if you want to keep it as a keepsake, because it's virtually impossible. So if it's your collector's item, you'll be glad that I'm reading it to you here from my source, and you can keep yours pristine. But if you're following along, and to make sure we're in compliance with copyright, we are on tile 331. Let's get started. After the Enterprise apprehends the crew of a stolen space cruiser, Kirk learns that one of them is the young son of the Catalonian ambassador to the Federation. I hate it when they make up words. You know what I mean? Catalan, they mean Australia. Yeah. Anyways, because the Federation and the Catula, are currently engaged in a crucial phase of treaty negotiations, Kirk has no choice but to treat the free spirit transgressors with kid gloves as the Enterprise travels toward a starbase where the captain can drop them off. The idealistic group is led by Dr. Severin, a brilliant engineer who claims to be looking for the mythical planet of Eden. And although Spock admires Severin and supports some of his theories, he comes to believe that the man is quite mad. Kirk has Severin placed in protective confinement, but his followers, who have, with Spock's assistance, located their potential Eden within Romulan territory, plot to free Severin and steal a shuttle. Meanwhile, Severin comes up with a plan to prevent the Enterprise crew from following them. The Way to Eden was extensively revised after DC Fontana delivered her original draft for the episode to producers. Initially titled Joanna, the story Fontana had in mind would have introduced viewers to McCoy's estranged daughter, Joanna, suggested in the writer's guide, but never seen. And for some of you who got a hold of me to ask for a copy of that writer's guide, you can actually see that McCoy does have a daughter named Joanna. Yeah. In Fontana's original concept, the younger female McCoy is one of these space hippies whom the Enterprise picks up. McCoy isn't at all happy to see her. Joanna's been telling him that she was studying to be a nurse, and now here she is, traveling around with Dr. Severin and his strange tribe. To make matters worse, Kirk and Joanna get along, shall we say, rather well. Talk about a father's worst nightmare. The rest of the story follows Eden's basic lines. Severin is in search of Nirvana rather than Eden, and he is determined to get there with or without Kirk's assistance. Joanna helps the tribe to gain control of the ship. The planet they find isn't literally poisonous, but it isn't livable either, and Kirk manages to get them to come back to the Enterprise. McCoy and Joanna eventually have rapprochement. Oh, I was not expecting to see rapprochement in the block text. If you're unfamiliar with that word, it means to mend fences. Similar to that of Chekhov and Irina in the filmed episode. All of which, with the usual fine-tuning, was likely to have turned out better than The Way to Eden. But after turning in the draft, Fontana was told by the producer that McCoy was not old enough to have a 21-year-old daughter because he was Kirk's contemporary. Fontana was incensed that the new guard, and if you're just joining us, this is the third corporation that has now owned and been in charge of Star Trek, and the corporate. This particular corporation is quite heavy-handed. Fontana is incensed that the new guard did not care enough about the series to sit down and actually read the show's existing writer's guide. Clearly, they just didn't get it, and they didn't care. And this is a quote directly from DC Fontana. So I decided to wash my hands of it and move on to other things, says Fontana. I wrote a lot of Westerns after that. And the nice thing was that other producers seemed to respect what we did on Star Trek. They didn't think it was a science fiction show. To them, it was just a good show about good characters and situations. But while Fontana was gone, the episode moved forward, substituting Chekhov's former classmate and love interest, Irina. Oh, I'm not going to do her last name. I don't speak Russian. For Joanna. As Fontana's request, her name was dropped from the credits and replaced with a pseudonym she could use, or that she did use, I'm sorry, on That Which Survives, which is, of course, her two brothers, right? Michael Richards. One of her brothers was Michael. The other's name was Richard. That's how she came up with her nom de plume. If there was a generation gap between baby boomers and their parents during the 1960s, there was a bigger one between the boomers and the MBAs in Hollywood's executive suites, who never got a handle on how to bring to screen the colorful and vibrant idealism of that era's youth movement. More often than not, the end result was something like The Way to Eden, colorful in garments, if not in personality, with space hippies providing idealistic cliches, more embarrassing than profound. All of which served to make Spock's interest in Severin's flowery group seem more than a little out of character. That the erudite, buttoned-down Vulcan was willing to jam with them in the rec area was peculiar enough. But his effortless facility with the pseudo-hippie steak used by the tribe brings to mind the scene, "Oh, stewardess, I speak jive," from the movie Airplane. Spoken by the actress who had played fictional small-town homemaker June Cleaver in Leave It to Beaver. Spock's interest in the search for Eden, as mythical a location as they come, is equally difficult to comprehend. Isn't this the sort of pursuit of undomesticated aquatic fowl that Spock would find illogical? Well, yes. But one's got a sense that there was an underlying reason for Spock's fascination with the subject. And sure enough, exactly 20 years later, when Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, appeared on big screens, it suddenly all made sense. There is a black sheep in Spock's family, his older half-brother Sybok, who left home to pursue his visions of a mythical planet, Shakari, from which, according to Vulcan legend, creation sprang. In other words, Eden. Ah, it was in the blood all along. And that is all the block text has to say on The Way to Eden. I'm going to throw it over to Clobby in the chat. Everyone, what did you think of this block coverage?
Well, I suppose it's I don't know about them making that leap towards Trek 5 because of that. That's kind of a little leapish to me, I guess. You might have probably guessed that I'm not overly fond of this episode in the extreme. I think it's so full of all the bad kind of writing that we see in the worst of Trek episodes at the time for me. Crap like they just find the planet Eden. Their sensors, oh, there's a planet Eden. Well, at least in Trek 5, we knew the myth or the legend was that it was beyond the Great Barrier in the middle of the galaxy and all this kind of horse hockey, which you could criticize. But no, we're going to just check our sensors. Oh, yes, there is an Eden. Huh? That's all this stuff that what was interesting about the coverage you just came out with. I knew about Joanna McCoy. I didn't realize this was the episode where that was supposed to be, but it sounds like it would have been so much better. It stands to reason if Dorothy Fontana had been able to write what she wanted to write, it would have been 10 times better. Yeah. Clearly, because she's a writer, and these people are dolts that really never watched a lot of Star Trek while they were making the show, because
it's corporate Trek. This is another example of corporate Trek, and it's really sad. Well, I knew about the Joanna thing, but the thing that I find odd about Block, restating this is probably something that Raymond and Rod noticed too, as they're both writers like I am, and that is that Block keeps reminding us that Fontana and both Jeans had quit the show. There was another producer called in. They didn't like what was happening, but that was at the beginning, middle. So the beginning, middle of the third season, not here at the end. So it's quite odd that she recovers that ground. But I guess it's nice context. But and certainly maybe this was an opportunity for Fontana to defend her nom de plume and defend her story and bring it to light. So I don't know.
Well, it's just that it's just not. There's really almost nothing that isn't cringe about this episode, as the kids said. Cringing.
So true.
Yeah, the Chekhov romance. I guess that was, I don't know, seeing Chekhov get to do a little bit, I guess, but even that. You use quite correctly use the term corporate Trek a lot. This one almost the epitome of corporate Trek, because
it is.
If you watch a lot of 60s television, which I have, folks, and again, it's fine. I like it. In most shows, I don't care. It had the, let's see here, you had the young romance, check. You had the quick, easy, easily convenient, oh, we'll find the planet, check. You had not putting people not putting criminals into the brig, and their excuse was because the kid was politically connected. I don't care what. They beamed them aboard the ship without even having a security detail in the transport room. That might be a nitpick, but you had, oh, we got to have musical numbers on our show with a bunch of, contemporary type music, because that's what all TV shows do.
You call everything that music?
Well, you know what I mean, singing.
No, I know. I was just taking a chance to be a smart aleck.
Exactly.
Just so bad. You know what I mean? It's just, oh boy.
Yeah, and by the way, I always love my boy Charles Napier. That guy, I don't know what it is about him. Adam and the thing. That guy always makes me. Everything I see him in, the dude makes me laugh. He's funny.
It's his underbite. He has an underbite like a Shih Tzu.
Yes,
so
he's funny in everything he does. He's funny in this. It's just a stupid episode. You're supposed to be able to laugh at the episode. I get it, but it's not. And I'm not saying that we're going for a trouble with tribbles or an I mud or something.
No.
But if they were, they kind of, maybe they thought they were, and it was failing miserably, because it's laughable, but you're laughing at it as opposed with it, because you're going automatically, your credibility shot to hell, because you're going, space hippies? Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me with the space hippies? You have stupid crap like Spock just becoming a space hippie in a sense.
Yep.
Oh God, the writing is terrible. Again, you make Kirk you had to write Kirk as the stodgy, stick in the mud.
That's in my notes. Wait till you see where I get to
okay.
my notes.
Yeah. I hate the way they write Kirk in this one. Herbert, screw that stuff. The whole episode is just moronic. It's stupid. Everything about this episode. They got Severin. This guy, it's kind of funny that he played a Yahtzee in one episode, and now he plays a hippie in another. That's kind of funny.
It is.
And for Patterns of Force. This episode, but I'm not going to say it because it's bad words. It friggin' sucks. I hate it.
I agree. Wait till you hear what I say.
I'm
ripping a new one.
It's embarrassing. You know what? You know how I often call Spock's brain embarrassing? This is more embarrassing.
Yep.
And I got a buddy of mine who likes it. I know a human being on the planet that likes it. I kid you not.
Oh, hey, brother.
Stepping out to Eden. Yay, brother. I got to admit, that song going to snap my fingers and jump for joy. Got a clean bill of health from Dr. McCoy. Okay. I laughed at some of it, but I'm laughing at the episode.
Yes.
So I'll admit it's funny, but it's not funny in the way they wanted it to be.
No, it's not. I totally agree.
Mark the Evidently Tired. What's up, buddy? Doug 35. Hello.
Doug 35. Hi. And Mark the Infinity Tired. Hello, fine sir.
What's up, buddy? Spock's brain is way better. J-Man, I'm not going to argue with you on that one, brother.
J-Man, you're a wonderful person.
Indeed, it's good Lord. So anyway, you have some notes.
I do. Okay, so some of you may or may not know this, but how I met Clobby is I have been rewatching Star Trek in chronological order pretty much since I've been capable of doing it. So I started watching Star Trek about 45 years ago. And as technology has evolved, I have developed the ability to watch it year after year after year. So I'm actually watching along. And while I'm doing it, I'm making never before shared notes. And that's where these notes come from.
Oh.
So these are my notes upon reviewing Star Trek for 2021. So here we go. Herbert is an homage to all of the Herbs who worked with Star Trek. It sort of happened organically with the cast. They thought it would be hysterical, and so they used Herbert. Duan has said at in several places that he hates this episode. It's one of his most hated episodes. Walter Koenig hates this episode. Obviously, there's an obvious reason why, because he shoehorned in as "Hey, hey, we're the monkeys." If you are a regular Trekkie, you know why I'm saying that, because one of the things that the corporation said in the 3rd season is, we need some "Hey, hey, we're the monkeys." And Walter Koenig is the way to achieve that. So here we see a very heavy-handed corporation. Arena was originally written for Joanna, McCoy's daughter. Okay, I was going to tell that story, but it looks as though Block did. The Shat is wearing a corset because men also wear corsets and feel pressure to look buff on screen. So there, haters. This is not my Spock. This is corporate Spock.
Yes.
What does God need with a Herbert? Cult leaders, ST5, Final Frontier. Why does Kirk need to ask what a Herbert is? These are the affairs Kirk excels in. This isn't Spock's area of expertise. Kirk is portrayed as too old to even understand these stupid space hippies. The lowest rated episode of TOS in IMDb's history of TOS. It is currently ranked at 5.4, below Spock's brain. And now I'm going to make some Gen X jokes that only Gen X and boomers get. So I do apologize if you don't get these jokes. Turn on, tune in, tune out. We don't reach. Another corporate script under another betrayal of DC Fontana. And then I have a quote, "That's what your science have done to me." So this is actually in the script. That's what your science have done to me. And Dr. Severin says this. And I would just like to say to the script writer, Arthur Heineman, and who obviously butchered DC Fontana's work, basic subject-verb agreement would be nice here. Why does the bridge crewman know all of the lyrics to the space hippie songs?
Oh.
And then my final comment, this episode needs far more poisonous fruit.
Oh, man.
Oh, Snortopoopas! Tune in, tune out, tuna fish! Scuba Pete!
On the other hand, Charles Napier is fantastic. I don't know why. He's been in a lot of stuff. I don't know. I love that dude.
Yeah,
but the episode's
Shih Tzu underbite.
Yeah.
he looks like an old Shih Tzu. It's great.
I guess because I can't see any movie or TV with him without laughing, and in a good way, because he was I think he's passed, but he was a really good actor. But I'm saying he was funny and stuff. I don't know, but good God, this. I guess this episode does fall into that. Into that Spock's brain thing where you could actually at least laugh at it, or I guess.
Yep.
Oh my God, this stupid piece of crap. This is a a bottom fiver for me, a bottom two for me, or whatever. So I think we'll to expedite matters, folks. I will ask for my wonderful first officer's rating of the way to Eden, and then I will give mine, and then I will ask our wonderful chat for their ratings. So please, number one, give us your rating of the way to Eden. Or I'm sorry, stepping out to Eden. Yay, brother.
Well, Clobby, we reach.
We reach.
As many of you know, that after watching Star Trek for 45 years, I love it. It is one of the most wonderful things that ever happened to my life. But this is corporate Star Trek.
Yeah.
And this is should be a living testament to what happens when a corporation decides to insert itself between the audience and the creator. And I think it's super sad. And many of you know that I am a very generous professor. I love to give high grades. I think it's very encouraging, and I don't want to be too hard on anyone. I know many times you're very excited because of just how high a grades I give, because I'm forgiving to things that I love. But then many of you know how I feel about the alternative factor. And I would just like to say that this episode rivals the alternative factor for me. So I would just like to say,
that's a good rating.
I would like to give it a solid D. A solid D. Like poop, it's poop.
It's impossible. Good to see you there, buddy. Okay, the way to Eden, everyone. I know you're just all going to be shocked about this rating. Not. I give an F minus. F as an F this episode. This is bottom of the barrel garbage from hell, in my opinion. Yep. And yet, I almost wanted to be softer on it because when I was watching it the other day, because we live in different times, I kind of. Everything about it is bad Trek, but I kind of laugh at how goofy it is. But that's no excuse. This is garbage, in my opinion. So now I will ask my wonderful chat to, if you would be so kind, but don't be kind to the episode. I'm just saying, figuratively speaking, please give your rating of The Way to Eden. I don't want to do it, but it's got to be done.
Yep.
All right. Okay. I catch the jeez. Doug 35 is a C minus.
Okay.
All right, let's see here. No F deserves an F. I don't know, buddy. 7 of 9. Oh, minus 7 of 9. I'm sorry. Yeah, Mark. Let's see, Doug.
Mark, that's a gooder.
Up there. Get all the ratings up there. All right, Mark. The NFL first. Oh, I missed one. Sorry. I'm trying to catch them all now. I'm trying to fix where I can see everything better. Everyone, give me a second here. Rod Thunderheart, A minus. Love TOS too much. So do I, but this is not Star Trek. I mean, it technically is, but it's corporate Trek. But that's okay, brother. We love you no matter what, man. Minus 7 of 9.
Mark. That's such a good mark.
Good one, brother. Elagabilus. F. As an F this episode. Oh, Scotty, never save hippies. Yeah, Scotty, some of the stuff Scotty said about hippies was funny. Didn't the Yul Brynner-esque cult leader play Kojak? No, it wasn't Telly Savalas.
No, that wasn't Telly Savalas.
Yeah. Why did Quentin Tarantino make a cameo? He must have went back in time. Stop the We Are One spot garbage down with the hippie-archy. I love it. The hippie-archy, that's fantastic.
Oh, that is so good.
Elagabilus wins the day with the hippie-archy thing.
That is good.
Snortopoopas Cuber, F. Spippies, spreading Spurpies, Chekhov and Irina Gallion have long talks about perestroika. Oh, God. Yeah, in the 80s, I guess. Yeah. My what big ears? Oh, my, what big ears you have, Dr. Severin. Notable for an early appearance by Charles Napier. Yeah, good old Charles.
Yep. So, and his cute little underbite that is very endearing. Like a little Shih Tzu.
And they call him Scuba Pete. D minus. I would rather wrestle with Lazarus till the end of time. Yay,
yeah, brother. I would rather put baby Horta up. No, I'm not going to finish that.
But I hear you. Pat S. D minus. I don't blame that at all for searching for Nirvana. Or even, what about sounding like Nirvana? Never mind. As a guy born in the late 70s, they mean the world to me. I love them too.
Yes.
Never mind, may be perfect. Never mind, may be perfect. And their LP unplugged, from New York is up there. One of two. Oh, we got a two-parter now.
Katie Carr just walked through the door.
Katie Carr. Oh, great to see you. Pat S., I'm going to have to keep this thing linear, so I'll get to your second part after I get to some others, my friend. Sorry about that. Katie.
Welcome to the dark side, Clobby, where everything is linear. Welcome to Raquel's dark side.
Ooh, it is. That was scary. The great Lord Thoth. I got a lower rating than you, buddy. Wow. D- for the great Lord Thoth. D-. Minus here says the world. He actually doesn't talk like that. Sorry. I can't imitate him though. So let's go. The worst classic Star Trek episode of the 5-year mission. And that's a D-. If it's the worst one, dude, you're not in the F territory, but I'm not going to criticize you. There's so much awful. I cannot begin to start. You let hippies free reign on the flagship, the Starfleet. What the fliggle? Where is that pair?
Yeah, they needed to just pass out as many pairs as possible. Do you know what I mean? Throw the fruit at the space hippies.
Indeed. J-Man. D, it's all been said. Yes, sir. It's oh man. D. Bud Martin, C-. Yes, another failed Hollywood attempt at portraying hippies. But I actually didn't hate this episode. I loved Napier, but hated the music. Koenig had more than usual to do in this one, and he apparently was not happy about it.
Yeah, because hey with monkeys.
Hey with the Chekhovs.
Yeah, and no.
Let's see here. Sandra Feliciano, a C. I can't give original Trek a bad grade. The sociological aspect shows that cult leaders will kill to keep power. Dedicated followers won't stop them. Politicians screw up everything. Oh, yeah. I mean, there could always be underlying interesting points to an episode, but all that, it's just the execution is, well, there should be executions. Let's put it like that.
Yep.
Pass
out the fruit.
2 of 2. Pass out go to that planet with all the poisonous crap on it for whatever reason it was poisonous. Pat S. 2 of 2 with Peter Frampton. Oh, with Peter Frampton comes alive and Cheap Trick live at the Budokan. Was it Budokan or is that Budokan? Nirvana is the greatest rock group of my life.
He's full on Gen X then.
Yeah, he must be. I like Al Yankovic's take on Nirvana. Sorry, but I'm old. And Brad Fisher, D-. Indeed. With your permission, I must locate the nearest trash compactor.
So good, Brad.
Everyone's nicer to this episode than me.
Listen to Steve.
Steve Mitchell. D. Makes me want to eat all the poisonous fruit of Eden. Yes.
Oh my God, Steve.
Phantom Outsider. D. Because of the following, the song is a bit of an earworm. Because as terrible as it's memorable. My father, actual name. Was he a Herbert? Okay, wow. I've known a lot of Herberts. This episode, well, maybe not a lot. This episode got me spanked on numerous occasions. Can't wait to read part 2 of that. Let's see here. Katie says, there we go. Hi, friends. Vaguely remember this, especially because of the Spock and ponytail girl playing an instrument. A solid D. Well done, Katie.
You mean the bike wheel?
The bike wheel thingy? Yeah. There you go. Wow. There we go. There's. Oh, wow. Arden Feliciano, only a step above my rating. F+. 5 out of 5 Raquel Raspberries. Horrible plot all along. You could call this Star Trek the musical. However, it's still better than the post-2005 garbage. True.
Here.
Now, the best Star Trek musical was in Mad Magazine. If you ever find the old Star Trek musical from Mad Magazine, it's hilarious. Love it. I even quote from it sometimes.
Oh, nice.
You ever seen that? It's fantastic. Anyway,
no, I haven't seen it. I do, however, love this comment from Snortopoopus. He's acting like he's called over the maitre d'. I'll have the toxic Cobb salad special, please.
Our new friend, Janet from Another Planet. So great to have you here, Janet. Even though the storyline was terrible, I will still give it 7 because I love all of the actors showing up and learning their lines and giving it their own. That's a nice thing to say, and I appreciate you for that.
What a beautiful person.
You don't
typical Trekkie.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic, Janet, because even though I like beating up on the episode, remember, when I do it, I'm beating up on the writers and the producers. The actors are doing their job.
Yep.
So it's good to point that out. Thank you, Janet. I really appreciate that. Let's see. That was actually part 2 of the Space Seed, which was originally called the Space Weed.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, did I miss one? Oh, I think I missed number 2. I'm sorry, Phantom Outsider. The fact the hippies went full Charles Manson family was quite disturbing. Yeah, especially at the time. Thought Napier was Jerry Reed. Yeah, he does. He kind of reminds me of Jerry Reed. Should have used Jerry Reed. Eastbound and down, roll it up, and yeah. Oh, I love Smokey and the Bandit. There we go. And then let's see. Thing rolled on me here. And then finally, Phantom Outsider says, also shows even in the 23rd century there is a privileged class.
Yeah.
Ambassador's kid. Yeah, that was so stupid. It's just those idiots didn't understand Star Trek. You know, I cannot in good conscience give an F to an original Star Trek episode. Says great.
Well, LT.
Fortunately, I have no good conscience, buddy, but I'm with you.
No, I'm sure. I beg to differ, and I think LT would too. You are a man of great conscience, and we love you, a true gentleman.
Oh, well, thank you. And again, I really do understand everyone. Just know that I'm shooting at the idiot producers and writers.
Yes,
and the corporate
and it's
stuff,
true.
So, yeah.
It is true. Like you know, it's very important that I add that context. So if you're just joining us and you've just become a part of this great community, you've missed the parts where DC Fontana admitted, and other sources admitted that they were basically bullied out of the 3rd season, and Gene Roddenberry was replaced on his own show, and they were treated so poorly that the 3 people who were most important to Star Trek, the 2 Genes and Dorothy, walked away from the show. They were treated that badly, and so when we talk about what the corporation decided to do here in their stead, you should always make sure that you put it in that context. Because Clobby and I, we've been watching this for more than 40 years because we love it. And even Star Trek at its worst is still better than the filth they make post 05.
Absolutely. Phantom Outsider on the plus side. They introduced the thumbs to the neck knockout. Never explained that. Also, when Mikey Spock, when can Mikey Spock be sent a basket of Eden for the bad reboot? Eden. Well, I would definitely want to send it to people at Bad Reboot. I'm not going to go too far there.
Oh my goodness!
But I'm with you. Yeah, at least Mikey Spock's a fictional character, so yeah. Let her go to Eden.
Yes,
but she'll be the bestest ever, and All right, let's see. I'm gonna try to speed on to the next one. We got a little bit more. Chris Berger, E. Wow, we have an E. 1 of 3. Okay. Yet again, they bring us space hippies. Yet they decided the logical, scientific Spock is the one person in the Enterprise to understand hippies. Even though the story wasn't captivating, at least we get to see Charles Napier outside the typical Western genre do something unexpected. Of course, he was upgraded to a D-. Of course, we, he was great in the Blues Brothers and many other things. Finally, the episode inadvertently raises a question. If Dr. Severn was patient 0 for Spurpies, how exactly did Kirk contract it? Downgraded to E-. Apolloniscata. Holy shit.
I'm not going to teach you how to say that, but I will tell you it's very naughty and wonderful. I love you, Chris.
Yeah, I'm glad I can't pronounce that. Like that's something else. Dave Bob, what's up, brother? Good to see you, brother. We're about to scoot on to our next episode. If we got, I hope we got everybody. Polomies Minion. Good to see you, Polomies. Oh, lovely.
And Pupper.
Yep. How are you doing today, love? It's good to see you. Good to see you. We are going to have to roll on to our next one. Just want to make sure we got everybody real quick. Let's see here. I think we're good. We're ready to move, everyone. So ready or
Mark
not?
got here.
Mark, dude, what I tell you? What's up, brother? He's back. Yo, bro. Mark, if you want to pop up a review of The Way to Eden as everyone else did, we'll try to catch it later. But yeah, you did. Well, we're just now moving on to our next episode. So
I love that I actually know Mark so well that I know when he's being sarcastic. I just love this. Did I miss the Fantastic Trek singing episode?
You did, sir. And don't we all wish we did?
Okay, everybody, we're moving on to Requiem for Methuselah.
Requiem for Methuselah, everyone.
Season 3, episode 19 on your streaming services, and prod code 76. If you're reading along in the block text, and to make sure we cover our heinies as far as copyright goes, we're on 334. An outbreak of deadly Rigelian fever spreads through the Enterprise. Kirk, Spock, and McCoy beam down to the planet Holberg 917G in search of Ritalin. Ritalin. Yeah, I always have trouble saying that, especially because of the way it's written. I'm telling you, folks, it's more difficult to read it than it is to just say it. Yes. Yeah, especially with Rigelian right beside it. Anyway, the disease's only known cure. Holberg has only 2 occupants, a reclusive man named Flint and Rayna, his beautiful young ward. Flint is openly hostile, but he agrees to provide Kirk with the Ritalin after Rayna expresses an interest in meeting the landing party. As the Ritalin is being processed, Spock is surprised by Flint's astounding art collection, which contains original pieces by Leonardo da Vinci. Meanwhile, Kirk takes an interest in Rayna, but the landing party begins to suspect that Flint is delaying delivery of the precious drug, and that his hospitality disguises an ulterior motive. Flint, as he refers to himself in Requiem for Methuselah, was born some 6,000 years ago in Earth's Mesopotamia region. Kirk, McCoy, and Spock are startled to discover that Flint not only knew some of the greatest minds in history, he was one, or actually several, including Leonardo, Solomon, Alexander the Great, Lazarus, Methuselah, and even the mythical Merlin. Spock seems particularly taken by Flint's recent Brahmsian compositions, so taken that he sits down and plays a waltz on a convenient piano. Credited with creating the Brahmsian paraphrase for the episode was Ivan Ditmars, a composer, an orchestra leader, and musical director who worked in radio and television from the 1940s through to the 1980s. One of Ditmar's longest musical gigs was on a popular TV game show, Let's Make a Deal. Like many shows of the era, the music on Let's Make a Deal was live, and it was Ditmar's job to come in each day and score the melodies that would be performed on air. At showtime, he would play piano and organ while conducting 3 other musicians. He was the game show from its debut 1963 to 1976, when the producers moved from Los Angeles to Las Vegas and switched to pre-recorded music. The original version of Flint's Castle was a reuse of the beautiful matte painting created by Albert Whitlock for The Cage. For Star Trek's remastered episodes, the artists at CBS Digital reinterpreted a number of such visual reruns to give each episode a unique identity. And to accompany it, one last literary portrait as provided by Michael and Denise Okuda. So Block regularly does this. She includes italicized paragraphs of how the Okudas describe these props. So if you're a little bit confused as to why she would do that, I know some people asked in the chat last week. That's why. It's an odd choice, but I'm just explaining it. Weary of the human experience, the immortal man finally fled his homeworld, seeking solitude on a distant planet. In splendid isolation on Holberg 917G, Flint would never again suffer the insanities of Earth's society, the petty jealousies, the endless trivialities, and the horrors of war. He spent years constructing his personal fortress, ironically inspired by Earth's Renaissance architecture. Flint designed his castle to provide for his every need and to facilitate his every intellectual pursuit. Equally important, it would protect him from meddlesome intruders and curiosity seekers. Yet, when it was finished, Flint found to his great surprise that his life was still lacking. The man who had lived 1,000 lifetimes discovered he still needed a woman's love. Wow, the Okudas write much better than Block. I find Block horrible to read sometimes. Dr. McCoy often needles Mr. Spock about his lack of emotions, a criticism the Vulcan usually ignores. In the closing scene of Requiem for Methuselah, after McCoy lectures Spock about his inability to comprehend love, he remarks almost as an aside that he wishes the grieving Kirk could forget about the lovely android Reyna. After McCoy departs, Spock approaches the slumbering captain, places his fingers at Kirk's temple, and murmurs just one word: forget. Fans immediately understand two things: that Spock has just implanted a subconscious instruction telling Kirk to forget the pain of loving and losing Reyna, and also that Spock understands at least one kind of love: brotherly love. It's an intriguing moment, one that nearly parallels Spock's meld with McCoy at the end of Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, when he instructs the Doctor to remember. It is only in the subsequent film, Star Trek III: The Search for Spock, that viewers learn Spock has placed his own Katra, or living spirit, into his friend McCoy's subconscious for safekeeping. Yet, as touching as these scenes are, there's something slightly off about both moments. Is it ethical for Spock to impose his Katra on the Doctor without asking? Similarly, is it right for Spock to manipulate Kirk's memories in order to ease his best friend's pain? One suspects that Kirk would say no, given that, as he later insists in the film Star Trek V: The Final Frontier, I need my pain. Ironically, both acts serve to prove one thing: Spock is definitely capable of comprehending and falling subject to the broken rules and the desperate chances of love. And that is all the block text has to say on Requiem for Methuselah. So what did you think of this coverage?
Pretty interesting stuff. Good coverage. As I always like hearing, about the Akutas. And again, I did notice that. I did watch the remaster one the other day. I know naughty, but it did look pretty impressive, that the castle. I like this episode, actually, to be honest with you. I have criticisms of this episode, everyone, of course. Septic Stream, welcome. Good to see you.
Hey.
In other words, there are things you could pick apart. I note, of course, that the episode was written by Jerome Bixby.
Yeah.
Who wrote not only my favorite episode, Mira Mira, but of course was a writer of, Twilight Zone and many things. In other words, even though obviously some producers never probably got their hands all over a script, this one is because there are even really very, very good, great Trek episodes that have their logic problems here and there and stuff like that.
Well, yeah.
But this one is still, for the most part, a pure science fiction type of a Trek story.
It is.
I really like the story of Flint. If you want to pick it apart, you can a little bit in terms of, but it's kind of, by the way, this is not much of a criticism, because this is a kind of a trope that you saw constantly in movies or television of the time, and maybe even beyond the time, of where people will meet and then 5 seconds later they're in love. Or because someone even made the joke, wow, Kirk, like 5 seconds and he falls in love with Reyna. And not only that, and toward the end, he's like, you got to come with me and all this kind of stuff. And if you want to watch that through today's lens, I think you could knock that a little bit. You could just kind of, but you could excuse it, because I think there's a lot of really good in this episode. Fine-tuned maybe a little bit by Roddenberry or DC Montana or something like that. It probably would have made a fine first or second season episode. It really stands out third season for me, because I think it's a pretty good story. Again, shortcuts like that can you could certainly criticize. You could criticize a few silly things like another shrinking of the Enterprise, and of course Kirk looks through the view screen and can see everyone's frozen in time. So, but again, I'm laughing at that, but I like the episode. I enjoy this episode for the Flint character. You could say Kirk may have been a little out of character in some ways, because they've had that tendency in this season.
Mm-hmm.
You could criticize some of that. You can certainly call to question the mind meld by Spock, as you mentioned. But on balance, as I've said a lot of times with Star Trek, I love it when they have certain very Trekish ideas, and when it's an entertaining episode, certainly I will be, just as people were forgiving even of The Way to Eden, or at least giving it nicer ratings because it's Trek. I will definitely be, because I don't want people to think I'm not lenient. I am lenient on Trek. if you can entertain me and have a lot of good Trek in it. So yes, there's some quibbles here and there that I've stated, but I like this episode because I like the whole concept of Flint. Again, Jerome Bixby, he's a guy with this science fiction writer. He was an established science fiction writer.
Yeah. And he has this tendency of when he's writing things, he gets stuck on certain sounds. And I think it's funny that the 3 words that he made up in this episode are all R.
Right.
They all begin with, it's just funny. But yeah, I like his writing too. I think that you'll hear in my show notes that all of my thoughts and feelings are very similar to yours.
Yeah, well, again, I'm not putting this, and again, this is not a situation like the thought of me going, this is a top 10er, not even a top 25er for me, buddy. Yeah. But I think this is pretty fairly top notch for 3rd season, and something that would, could have been in the 1st or 2nd season as a solid, pretty entertaining episode. I say, you can pick it up, you can pick it a little bit here and there, but this one is a cut above of the garbage we reviewed a few minutes ago and other episodes in this season. So yeah, I do like Requiem. I've always liked Requiem for Methuselah.
Me too. So, I've loved it actually my entire life. So like, how Clobby and I always talk about the fact that we feel differently about different episodes because society is different, or we're a different age, or we're at a different part of our lives, or we're just feeling different because, as the world changes and as you grow and you get more education, or you become more of a sage, and your wisdom, you begin to cultivate your wisdom, you start to feel differently about things, far differently than you did when you were young. And so when you say that, Clobby, I totally agree, and that's why I have to say to you that I have loved this episode my whole life. I really have. I think it's a real gooder. I don't think it belongs in season 3, which is, of course, the large marge of corporate sledgehammering, and it's kind of gross that they did that. But this episode shows you just how powerful good writing can be, and how powerful those first 2 seasons were. So for my notes, I just I took down while watching the show today. I said this is in Star Trek when we introduced the idea of a star date with more than 2 decimals. Now, you shouldn't put too much emphasis on that. If you're sitting at home and you're new to Star Trek, I just want you to know that Gene Roddenberry said that there was no rhyme or reason to star dates. So that's really just a trivia thing for you if you're playing Star Trek trivia at home. Raina's last name, Chapek, is pronounced K-Pek in the United States. It's an anagram of Chapek. So Carol Chapek coined the term robot. There is so much illusion in this episode. Shakespeare, history, artifacts, cool concepts. Of course, we have Methuselah from all of the Abrahamic texts. The Bible, the Torah, and the Quran. And of course, he is the most long-lived person in the Bible. 969 years Methuselah lived. We have Corporate Spock. Corporate Spock declares himself emo, and that's a no-no. I put in my notes. I also put, why would someone want 11 undergraduate degrees with no advanced education? So I thought that was very revealing of Jerome Bixby's knowledge of post-secondary education. Of course, I'm not sure anybody would want 11 undergrad degrees. It's sort of an introduction to your subject. Spock says inert and useless, which is almost a double negative. And of course, he has that big long speech about deactivating his phaser. All of this is just one gigantic cluster poop of super bad grammar. And we can tell that that the core 3 are not involved in writing this episode. Kirk's intensity, his sexual intensity, makes no sense. McCoy says enormous life. Of course, there are things that are about you that can be enormous when you're a man, but certainly not your life. You can't lead an enormous life. Anyhow, more grammatic trouble. Anyway, that's also, I have to tell you, as somebody from the billiards community, and my husband is quite a talented billiards person who's a world master. That's not how you hold a pool cue. You don't hold a pool cue like that.
That's why I lost.
The thing I don't like about this episode is that Spock is more emotionally intelligent than Kirk. I have here, Kirk must be warned about danger. This is dumb dialogue. Who are these people? This isn't Kirk. This isn't Spock. And Flint says, "No man beats me." Well, no man who occupied the lives of our greatest men, especially all of the ones named, would say this. It is a pettiness that makes no sense toward the development of this character, which has apparently been edifying himself since Mesopotamia. So around the time of the Epic of Gilgamesh, our first literature as human beings. Then I have Spock explaining that the robot to its creator is the ultimate silliness I've ever seen in Star Trek. Kirk would not be lovelorn, especially for a robot, and Spock would not cleanse his mind for this reason. I also have Nomad. Spock says the M4 is fascinating when he has seen this type of technology before. So it's a little bit of an exaggerated reaction. Now, all that said, I do have to say that I love this episode. You can tell that the top three people who are prodigiously gifted at storytelling have walked away from this show. But you know, had they been here, boy, this would have been a good episode, possibly top 10 if they would have been involved. So I love this episode, but it's got it has zits. It's got a bit of an acne problem, but it's gorgeous. I mean, it's basically a Barbie with acne.
Well said. You know, and I bet a lot of those things that you so rightly point out about the writing and the clunkiness and all these problems, I bet a lot of that wasn't in Bixby's script. I don't know this, but I would be willing to bet it was fiddled with a lot. And I'm not, maybe it's not true, but I think probably a few people got their hands on it and screwed around with it and added some of the dumb stuff, some of the inconsistencies.
Well, that's a reasonable assumption, Captain, because you have to remember that it wasn't as though Gene and Dorothy had tantrum and walked off the set. That's not what happened here. This wasn't a power struggle. This was being treated like crap and being told, this is exactly what you're going to do, down to reprimanding Doohan for his hairdo and the hey, we're the monkeys crap. So I do think that it was petty. I do think that there was a lot of inserting themselves where they shouldn't, and I'm going to talk about that in the episode in which Gene Roddenberry returned to do a little bit of work. So we're going to talk about that when we get to it. But I just want you to know that your suspicions are founded on fact and are extremely reasonable.
Well, thank you. And yes, again, this is all those problems, but it still manages to be higher quality because of the entertainment factor and some of the good concepts and ideas in it. And plus, yes, it's the cloaking device in Nomad, but I guess we finally found what happened to M4. It's M5's predecessor. Now, but anyway. So yes, well, I tell you know what, everyone. I guess I will get my wonderful first officer's rating. I will give mine and then I will get my wonderful chat. So hold off a sec, chat, while we get this. Number one, what is your rating of Requiem for Methuselah?
Oh, I hate this because everyone, don't throw poison fruit at me. I will not eat it. I know that some of you are going to be outraged at how high of a rating I'm going to give this, but I simply must. This is a B for me. I know it shouldn't get a rating that high, but I have literally loved this story, this episode since I was very young, and the allusion in it is quite powerful. And if you're unfamiliar with that literary theory term, that's when you're referring to other texts and historical events, and you're drawing all this wonderful history together. And so it creates quite a beautiful and complex adventure that sort of tickles the thinking part of your brain and makes you think, oh, what are the possibilities in the seeding of earth, and so on and so forth. So I love this episode, even though it is so problematic. I have to give it a B, Captain.
Well, there's another coincidence, because that's exactly what I give it, a B. And because I agree with some people saying things in the chat like the love triangle makes no sense because of the time factor involved.
Yeah.
And she's a robot. There are mischaracterizations all over the place, everyone. Yep. But for entertainment factor and some of the good science fiction concepts, I forgive it enough to give it a B as well.
Yeah.
So wonderful chat. Please, if you will start giving your ratings. And so Doug 35 has jumped the gun again. Penalty, 5-yard penalty. Just kidding, Doug 35. Thank you. A for Raina. There you go. Or is that an A minus? Was that an A minus or an A? Maybe an A minus. But anyway, thank you, Doug 35 for that. Let's see here. Everyone, is my chat frozen up or something? I don't know. I'm not kidding. Okay. Oh, okay. Maybe I had a bit of a chat problem.
Canadian Spider-Man just walked through the door.
Canadian Spider-Man is here. What's up, Canadian Spider-Man?
No, these are the Steves I know.
There you go. You got your song. There you go. Nice. Let's see here. The great Dave Bob. C. Too many character inconsistencies.
That is a fair summation.
Very fair, Dave. I cannot argue with you. It's something that does stand out when I'm watching the episode.
Yes,
I just like a lot of the concepts of it.
Yep.
Elagabalus. B. I liked the mounted GoPro on the M4 Pro. Hail historical references. The voyeuristic Raina is cosplay worthy. Eternal triangle code for 3-way. Wow.
Oh, but that's said. That's actually said in the episode. So that's excellent.
Yep. Love Smug McCoy and compassionate Spock. Poor Kirk. Yeah.
Excellent comments. Excellent comments. You have turned into such a great part of this community. Thank you so much for your excellent, and well-wrought comments. Thank you so much.
Indeed. Hey, Doug 35. I was just messing with you, dude. No need to be sorry. We'll just get. I was just ribbing you there, but don't worry about it.
We had some Japanese up there. B minus. Domo arigato. Kirk loves the roboto.
Scuba Pete. Thank you.
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Who is that again? Is that Styx? I think that's Styx.
It could be.
That's very Generation X of you.
Scuba Pete. Thank you, Scuba Pete. And again, Doug, don't worry about it, man. I'm just messing with you. All right, here we go. Let's see here. Canadian Spider-Man does whatever a Canadian Spider can. It's always good to see you, buddy. This is a favorite of mine. He says, always will be. Animus straight. Oh, I guess he means A minus. I'm sorry. I'm blind. It's okay. A minus straight. A minus. Love you. Yeah. Okay. Enormous lives. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, love you, CLOBBERIN Times and Raquel.
We love you too, buddy. Thank you so much. Here we go. Now we have the great Snorter Poopas Cuber, one of 3. B. Flint is an interesting take on the immortal being trope. Well played by James Daly. Yes, he was. But his identities and so many famous people is a bit predictable. I will get to your second part in a second. Pat S. B plus. Spock demand robots. Spock demand robots. I like better than the robot here. You guys love me. Robbie the robot. Well, better than Robbie the robot. I mean, she's hotter, but Robbie the robot rocks. And Kate, again, she's hot, but we love these 2 robots. Vincent, he was okay at the black hole. Let's see. And Bob, I mentioned Bob. Crow and Tom Servo and Cambot and Gypsy. No, she's not better than them. She just looks better. C3PO, R2D2.
What?
R2D4. No, she can't be better than him. Come on, man.
Pat, and next in CLOBBERIN, when CLOBBERIN comes, okay, the first night when we go out and we eat Cajun food and we drink beer and listen to bands and hang out and just laugh about Star Trek, I now get to kick you in your shin. Not hard, but very lightly. I'm going to kick you in your shin for that comment.
Wait a minute. I screwed it up because of the way it was put together. Spock demand robots I like better than the robot here. So he actually likes these better.
Oh, okay. All right. You are absolved from the shin kick.
I'm an idiot.
Love you,
Pat.
I
got it right. And, dude, one of these days I'll get this set up where I can see things right. So I'm sorry. Again, Doug, you didn't have to put that up there again. You're good, but we appreciate it. I'm just messing with you. Anyway, let's see here. Sort of Ubis Part 2 of 3. Kirk warp speeds into love again and suffers. Yeah. Yet another tragic loss. Spock helping him forget the painful memory is touching. I agree with that. D-Bud Martin, C+, 1 of 2. Does Kirk's Spurpies allow him to drive androids mad with, and do androids dream of electric sheep, by the way, mad with passion for him within minutes? At least he can't pass it on to her. It's silly.
True.
That he is so in love with her in a matter of hours. Yeah, it's
wonderful comment.
But that's old TV, though. Old TV and movies did that. It's not the first time. This happens a lot. It happened a lot, I should say. The basic plot of The Immortal Man was good, though, and the guest cast was great. And I agree. Number 3 for Sort of Pumas, and shows the depth of their friendship and that Spock is capable of genuine compassion. True enough.
Yes.
True enough.
True.
Brad Fisher. I agree. B for me. And I had such a crush on Raina. Well, yeah, it's understandable. The joys of love made her human, and the agonies of love destroyed her. Yes. A lot of good, worthy ideas in the episode in spite of its faults. Doug, yeah. Raina and Andrea, my 2 favorite Star Trek women, both androids. I hear you. R and Feliciano. Raymond. B. For the historical intrigue. D for yet another Kirk falling in love at first sight trope. D- for the Spock mind meld violation equals C. A complex review by Raymond. There you go, buddy.
Yeah. Well, it's like Raymond has all that same hope. As an author, Raymond has all that same hope for something wonderful to be fleshed out. And then instead, it can be disappointing because there's so much potential here.
Absolutely. Phantom Outsider. C. Here's why. If Flint was so experienced, why didn't he have more things? I got more stuff than that, and I don't produce my own art and music. That's 1. I'll find the other one when I can get to it, my friend. Rod Thunderheart. A. Or maybe he means A-. Some episodes I just can't help myself. Still love it, even if the writing has suffered. That's quite everyone's view and everyone's rating is their own, my friend. You're good.
I love it when you do that, Rod. Rod, you know that I love it when you do that. So no, you speak your mind.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Septic Stream. Never seen this episode in years. Okay, I'll give it an A+. Well, if you haven't seen it in a while, that's a fair one, Septic Stream. So I can understand that for sure. And if you watch it again, you can always change your rating later.
Yes.
I mean, we all do that. J-Man, B+. The concept is cool. Even with its issues, it's still fun to watch. I can definitely agree with that. It's very likable.
You got Clobby and I on that.
Yeah, it's still very enjoyable. Like I said, and that's part of, there are a lot of episodes where I go, this one was just sheer enjoyment. And that was kind of one. Van Outsider, no sculptures by Leonardo. Well, they only had so much budget. And he probably destroyed his own sculptures. Also, if he was Solomon, wasn't he gifted superior intellect, wisdom of God? Well, he did. He was damn smart because he had all that time to, so they said he was extraordinarily intelligent in the episode, if you remember right. So let's see.
It is problematic, the Phantom Outsider, that they chose so many and then chose to make him so petty.
People.
So
Yeah, that I'm so with you that stupid line. No one beats me is like that was not Bixby. I refuse to believe it was Bixby. He's too smart.
Yeah.
That's not a guy who wrote for Rod Serling. Okay, that's some dumbass.
Yep.
That's not a this guy wrote some Twilight and wrote a lot of science fiction. He didn't write that puerile line.
Oh, J-Man's got to leave. He says, okay, I got to get going. Be seeing you. J-Man, thank you so much for showing up. We'll see you next week, sir.
All right, J-Man, appreciate you, buddy. And let me know what you end up thinking of The Prisoner, sir.
And J-Man, I need to know if you want me to put your name in a draw that I'm going to be doing for just like a thank you gift for our viewers. Let me know, okay?
Indeedishness. Thank you, J-Man. I always appreciate you, buddy. So you mentioned A-. I also like the concepts, and Da Vinci is one of my childhood heroes. From Steve Mitchum, a high rating from Steve there.
Yeah. Because it's such an intriguing idea. Like if you read a lot of science fiction, there's a lot of stuff here that tickles just the perfect part of the brain that makes you go, oh, wow, we could do so much with this. And it's very intriguing.
Oh, absolutely is. Absolutely. And because of the line from Free Enterprise, the Robert Meyer Burnett film, when he mentions Requiem for Methuselah, and he said this episode aired when the first aired on Valentine's Day. Let's see here. Chris Persia, B, one of two. This was an interesting episode, and we get to see Spock's compassionate side try to alleviate his friend's pain, although certain aspects seem to be drawn from Forbidden Planet. That's a good point. Love the film Forbidden Planet. It's a masterpiece. And Roddenberry was a big fan of it. I think he did a lot of it. It's been said that he's taken some inspiration from that wonderful film. And yes, there is a sort of when I was watching it the other day, again, I kind of somehow reflected on Forbidden Planet a little bit. Sandra Feliciano says, B, I agree with Raquel. There is rich content of history and art. How many kids realize that history and art are important in our growth as human beings? Conflicting emotions can tear someone apart. Absolutely.
That's a beautiful comment, and it's exactly how I have felt about that episode through my whole life, even when I wasn't able to articulate it. So it gives you a hunger for history and for learning, and great comment. Thank you.
Indeedishness, absolutely. Well done. Chris Persia has part 2 of his. In Forbidden Planet, the captain falls in love. Captain Adams falls in love with a young girl. She's not a robot, but she's, in a sense, she's a lot like Reyna because she was never met people before. She was extremely intelligent, but also beautiful, and she didn't understand anything about social interaction. There's a similarity there. Then the fight. Fight the monster. Yes, the monster from the id, which was Morbius's id. Oh, there you go. Yeah, exactly. God, I love that movie. While Kirk ultimately has to fight Flint's ego, another aspect of the human psyche. Yeah, again, you're absolutely right, Chris.
Wonderful, Chris.
Well done to point out those similarities. Absolutely.
Evharisto, bravo.
Indeedishness. Mark D with a C, B-, 3 out of 5 salad strainers. A great sci-fi concept. Ridiculous love triangle. Yes. Kirk and intelligent machines are destined to never coexist. That's for sure. Love the character of Flint. There can only be one. Yeah, there you go.
Oh boy, that is wow. So is that where you're going with that one? There can be only one.
Yeah, Mark, a little bit of Highlander there.
Yeah, Mark. See, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you're meeting up with Steve Mitchum and me and Clobby. It's such a cool idea, isn't it? Love you, Mark. Thank you.
Great idea. Absolutely. Lord Thoth, C-. I have serious issues in this episode. Spock's rapey meld with Kirk. Ugh. However, my secret youth crush on Reyna, great historical hooks.
Yeah.
Plus good Vandal. Yeah. Oh, good. Thanks for bringing up Vandal Savage for Star Trek. Fascinating. Vandal Savage, one of the great DC Comics villain who was a caveman who stumbled upon a meteorite that gave him extraordinary, not only increased his intelligence, but made him immortal. Mm-hmm. So he's a DC Comics villain. Man, that's cool to bring up Vandal Savage, buddy. That's what we got.
Oh, that's LT. That's the way his brain works.
Yeah, I got to admit, I didn't think about Vandal Savage that much.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all right, on this one, but dude, LT's the man. Well, though. See, for Ash Singh, A, 1 of 7. What is philosophy? Webster's defines the universe as. Ash, I got to tell Ash about that one. He'll love it.
Look at how beautiful Steve Mitchum's daughter is. Tell me that isn't one of the most beautiful babies you've ever seen in your life. I love Maddie. She's just adorable.
Indeed. I don't get to have revenge on Steve though, because when my kids were that young, he used to be around them and say, "Hey, your dad's an idiot." No, he didn't really. I'm just kidding. But he did see my kids when they were that age. So.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Let's see. Phantom Outsider. Kirk falling for Reyna is easily explained. Reyna is the Enterprise in human form only. Why not let Scotty get under the hood? Fix her. Oh wait, Kirk don't want Scotty under the hood.
Oh my goodness. That tweet is that comment is so good. It's like I can't even laugh at it. It is so good.
Pat S, yeah, but I'm sorry I confused it, man. You know I'm adult, buddy. But thank you. I apologize, man. I'm way behind on these things, so you can all. I'm getting to him. I'm explaining it later. So do we fund CLOBBERIN? Construction of the home of former comic owner.
Where's this? Buddy. Put this up. I want to see it.
Ilagos, he just said, so do we fund the CLOBBERIN or the construction of the home for former comic book owners? I don't know. Neither, buddy. Oh, we still got more Phantom Outsider. We're going to jump to the next episode in a second, everyone. Then Scotty would fall for her too. The solution, mass-produced Reynas. I'm for that. Flint had nothing else to do before he croaked. Also, didn't he head back to Earth and see about a recharge? I would have, but he's lived for so long, maybe he didn't give a crap anymore. Yeah. I don't know. I'm afraid even I just don't know. All right, everyone, we're about to scoot on to our next episode, and if we've got everybody, the time has run out now. If you had not gotten one in there, I might be way behind. I'm just making sure. If I missed, Katie Carr gave it an A. Thank you, Katie. Let's see. Septic Stream says, does CLOBBERIN Times have a Discord? I do not. I do not. Maybe I should start one. Septic Stream, maybe I will. I've never been very good at the whole Discord thingy.
Yep. Oh, Steve Mitchum, no, I'm not a sweetheart. That would mean that I was complimenting you. I'm not complimenting you. I'm merely telling you the truth. She is such an exquisite little darling. I can't wait to meet her at CLOBBERIN. She's just a dear, dear, sweet baby. She's just so beautiful. Yeah, you're gonna be a dad with a big bat. You know what I mean? You're gonna have lots of trouble there. The boys they're gonna be at your house, Steve Mitchum.
Well, let's see here. One last thing. This is Kirk. Being undefeated against immortals and small G gods. Yes. Now, again, everyone in the chat jumped on me. Janet, you said you posted yours. I did not see it.
Hey, we missed Janet.
Well, I didn't see it. I may have went past it and then we can't go that far. The chat doesn't go that far back. So please, Janet, if you don't mind, dear, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, if you could put it back
up. Because I'm going very slow on this chat thing because it goes really crazy on me and it's tough to see everything, and that's why I'm trying to be careful and make sure I get everything.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see here. She said I posted my feelings too soon because it is about I'm so sorry about that, Janet. Not a problem, but if you could please put that back up there. I'd like to see what you think of the episode.
We love reading off your comments. That's actually like the way that this whole thing works. Because, Janet, we're trying to create a space. CLOBBERIN has created a space for us that's very much like the original con environment where a whole bunch of people who really love Star Trek can get together to talk about nerdy stuff that they wouldn't be able to talk about with other people. So this isn't us talking at you. It's all of us together. So your comments mean a lot to us. So we certainly will pause, and if you want to repost them, we'd love to read them off.
Before we get to the next one, we will handle that. Mark D with the C was not here earlier, so his review of The Way to Eden was D- 1 out of 5 bitter dregs. Spock as much is a much better singer. Where is Chuck Barris
Yeah.
and his Gong Show when you need him, buddy? Yeah,
Yeah.
I miss the Gong Show.
Imagine Large Marge hitting the gong on the Gong Show.
I like the unknown comic myself. Let's see. Mostly harmless but embarrassing episode looking to cash in on the hippie movement.
Yep.
There is a grain of truth in the message about nature, but this one is a horrible freaking episode. Happy didn't say that, I did. Oh yeah, we go. He's three-parting me here. Way to Eden, and makes three and makes me want to eat Snow White's apple straight through this one. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, buddy. All right, let's see. Again, Katie Carr was an A.
Oh, Phoenix Argus just showed up.
Oh, Phoenix Argus.
Zathras.
Oh, all right.
Guys, welcome. You guys are late. We missed you. So happy you're here.
Absolutely. Great to see you. And Zathras here. All right. I always like seeing Zathras because Zathras know and Zathras do.
Yep.
So, all right. Let's see here. Trying to catch up to everyone so we can get on to our next episode. Okay. Janet says she was breathtaking and I cannot fault any man who would fall in love at first sight. Well, you know, Janet, she was. I can't blame you there. I think it was very romantic, and I give it 9 for Kirk's love meter. Well, thank you so much for that. Look, hey, can't blame you one bit. And let's see here. Oh man, this thing jumps on me.
Yeah, it looks different on our side, just so everyone knows. If you're not a streamer and you haven't used StreamYard on this side, it looks much different than what you see. And StreamYard sometimes gets a little bit funky and it doesn't work the way that it should. Sometimes your comments are even missing entirely. So we do apologize. And if that happens, please let us know because we'll get to it and address it right away.
Yes. If you don't hear, a Septic Stream says, if you need help with Discord, I own my own server. And Septic Stream, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
What a nice offer.
Very nice of you. I appreciate you there. I might take you up on that. Let's see here. Okay, I think we're about ready because we need to get a move on here, everyone.
We do.
Need to get to warp speed. So
especially because the Felicianos, their coach and horses are going to turn into horses and pumpkins.
Indeed, I know. I know we run late, everyone, but we just have so much fun, and we want to get everything right, and we want to get everyone's views and stuff. And missed my explanation about the Spock mount. He was hammered. A 100-year-old Branny from McCoy warned him.
Oh, that's actually, you know what? That's actually a very good point. That is actually a very good point because McCoy does say that the brandy would affect him and he would be inebriated. So I actually like that. That's a good
perfect brainwaves.
That's a good way to fill some of those little plot holes.
Dave Bob, because that wasn't. I think he's referring back to Way to Eden, and it does deserve an F.
Yep.
Let's see here. Bop, bop, bop. We're about to run, everyone. We're about to move on to our next episode. Do fan commentaries. Have we ever tried to do? He's doing here. So I didn't see this yet, or here. I don't know. Commentaries on comics films because I've talked about comics films a lot. Yes, I'll have to give you some.
So Skeptic Stream.
There's Rod.
Just you probably maybe you're new to Clobby's channel, but just so that you know, he is a wonderful comic book expert. And so tonight we're doing Saturday Night Star Trek because he is a huge fan of Star Trek, but he is a bona fide comic expert. So please sub to his channel because he has a wide array of guests on, and they discuss everything from old comics to new comics, what's happening in comics, comic films. He discusses it all, and he has some of the best panels on YouTube, on the internet. In fact, Clobby is so marvelous. I call him the great comic curator, and very, very smart and wonderful and kind man. So please sub his channel and hit your notification bell, and you are sure to be delighted at the comic book and comic film coverage you see here.
Yes, and if you have any questions for me or anyone else does, so yeah, there are some ways to contact me and send me an email or a DM or anything like that on my Facebook, Twitter, or an email my email or something like that. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them for you. So in my description below. And one more review before we get on. Rod Thunderheart B plus, still love old school Star Trek TOS, don't we all, buddy? So that's excellent. Now we're gonna move on to our next episode, everyone.
Yes, The Savage Curtain. Season 3, episode 22, prod code 77, if you're counting. And let's just keep it legit here as far as copyright, and also so you can follow along. In the block text, we're on page 338, although it's not really a page, it's more of a tile. And if you saw how weird this book is, you'd laugh at that. Okay, so without further ado, as the Enterprise surveys the planet Excalibur, someone and something on the planet is also scanning the Enterprise. Not long after, an extremely lifelike manifestation of Abraham Lincoln appears in space, asking to be beamed aboard. This facsimile of the former president has been sent by the inhabitants of Excalibur with an invitation to visit the planet. There, Kirk, Spock, and Lincoln encounter a rock-like creature that wishes to learn about human concepts of good and evil. The Enterprise duo plus the airsats Lincoln. Okay, so some of you are probably going to think, what's airsats? That's the U.S. pronunciation of airsats, and of course that just means fake. If you don't know what that means, okay. Lincoln and the facsimile of Sirach, the father of Vulcan philosophy, representing good, are pitted against the likeness of Genghis Khan and Klingon Kalis, criminal scientist Zora, and Colonel Green, the despotic leader of a genocidal war. And if Kirk and Spock choose not to participate, the Excalibians tells them the Enterprise will be destroyed. Gene Roddenberry, it has been reported, held a great admiration for President Abraham Lincoln, and in his words and actions during the creation of Star Trek testify to that fact. While President Lincoln wrote the Emancipation Proclamation, the document that freed the slaves of the South, and Roddenberry adhered to the philosophy behind it, from the start, Roddenberry steadfastly insisted that his starship command crew include persons of all races, unlike the standard Caucasian monopoly that populated the majority of the 1960s television shows. The producer also confirmed his belief in the simplest of terms when he created the Vulcan philosophy of IDIC, infinite diversity in infinite combinations. So it is only fitting that the single script Roddenberry contributed to Star Trek's final season would include Abraham Lincoln interacting with the characters he finds himself had created. Unfortunately, the story seems a bit unrealistic, given that Lincoln, the great orator, is forced into hand-to-hand combat while the more powerful weapon of his words remains sheathed. As the series geared down, Roddenberry and Majel Barrett made plans for their future together by starting a company that would distribute Star Trek memorabilia. The name Roddenberry chose for the company, everybody knows this, Lincoln Enterprises. The uniting of those two words, one the name of his hero, the other a variant on the name of his starship, reveals just how much it meant to the producer. Prior to his introduction in The Savage Curtain, the character Sirach of Vulcan had never been mentioned on Star Trek. Spock introduces him to Kirk here as the greatest of all who ever lived on our planet, the father of all we became. Sirach then shows himself to be a man of peace, which costs him, or at least his facsimile, his life. But he proved to be such an intriguing character that mentions of him and his philosophy would remain popular topics of discussion among fans for decades, even though the great man himself would not appear on the screen again for 35 years. The father of Vulcan showed up as at last, albeit as the Katra-inspired version within the mind of Captain Jonathan Archer during the final season of the series Star Trek Enterprise. God, Block has weird writing. The Klingon character of Kahless, whose image also appeared in the Savage Curtain, turned out to be a similarly illusory character. His appearance 24 years later, however, would find him a changed man, no longer the bad guy of Curtain, but a far more honorable Klingon of the type that populated the kinder and gentler universe of Star Trek: The Next Generation. This Kahless, it would be revealed, founded the mighty Klingon Empire and wrote the laws that unite its warriors. However, he was no more the real thing than the Kahless that Kirk encountered in Excalibur. It turns out that the TNG representation of Kahless was a clone of the real warrior. Well, that's a spoiler. Sorry, folks. And that's all the block text has to say on the Savage Curtain. Other than Block's usual weird turns of phrases sometimes, what did you think of this coverage, everyone?
It's interesting that Roddenberry, this is the one Roddenberry had. I don't know how much if they did anything to his script, or if they got a hold of it. But this is a Roddenberry idea in the script, because the idea, it's okay. This is an episode I don't really hate or really love a whole lot either. I think the concept's relatively worthy, in the sense these are these alien beings creating this situation and stuff like that to learn about. In fact, some of it's very Roddenberry. They're doing this. They're creating the situation, this fight to study humans, just as humans go and study other, in the Federation studies people. So there's some definitely Roddenberry in this episode. I like it okay. And again, so I'm totally fine with what some on the surface would go, oh God, Abraham Lincoln, are you kidding me? And it works fairly well in the episode. I like the guy that plays him, because it's never pretended that they really think it's really Lincoln. I think at least that they know certainly that it's not Lincoln, that Kirk knows that, but the way he's going along with it is because he is an explorer. And some of that stuff, I think, works for the character of Kirk quite well. I do love the fact that the Excalibians, you can say they look crazy, but I kind of like that. I like when aliens on Trek look very, very alien. And so I just don't find it to be a super, super compelling episode. I think there's some kind of goofy elements to the writing, but it's not an episode that I dislike a lot or anything like that. Some of the stuff with these historical figures that Colonel Green was actually mentioned on Enterprise once, I believe, and Kahless, as you say, is nothing like the Kahless we see later. But again, these characters are taken out of the minds and what data they have on these characters from. That's
a good point. It was something that I think of every time I watch it.
Yeah, from the library. So I'm fine with, obviously them being different. Lincoln is very much a manifestation of Kirk's, hero worship of him. And he's from, just as Surak is from Spock's mind, Lincoln is from that. I think it's an interesting concept for an episode. I think it's fairly entertaining. It's not one of my favorites, but I don't really have anything bad to say about it either. I think it's decent. And because it's Roddenberry, you can see a lot of Roddenberry in it, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that he didn't get to produce it, right? Because they had removed him as producer because they wanted corporate Trek. But for whatever reason, he was allowed to come in and do the story in the teleplay. So
Dave Bob. I can't forget to put that. You like him because they're rocks like you. Yes, they're rock people like me. I'm the thing, so they're my people.
It's actually my nickname as well, Dave Bob. So right. It's like it's rocks all the way around here.
So, it's certainly, and we'll get your notes now. It's certainly not an episode I have a lot of problems with either. That I think it's one of the top. No, but again, the concept is at least fair, is Trekish, and it's not that outlandish because these are aliens creating these circumstances and again, unlike some of the episodes we've talked about recently, where the science of it can't even be forgiven if you just don't explain it, because some things can. You don't explain it and it's fine. Other ones are like, no, that's just too ridiculous. You have no even basis in any kind of logic. That's not the case here, in my opinion. You got these aliens with extraordinary powers. We've seen that in Trek plenty of times. There was even a DC comic later that Peter David or someone wrote where they brought the Excalibians back.
Yeah,
they were having a conflict with the Organians. So the Excalibians are fairly powerful. So there's a lot of Trek here.
Yep.
So I again, and some Roddenberry. It's not an episode I despise or anything.
Nope.
Not one I love either. I just like it. I think it's okay.
Yep.
So your notes?
Well, I mean, I feel the same way as you, but perhaps my feelings are even a little stronger. But I'll go through my notes, and you could sort of see what I'm thinking while I'm watching the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Star Trek.com reports that Colonel Green's uniform is from Mork and Mindy.
Yes.
And originally that would have been Happy Days.
Or vice versa.
They oddly caveat it by saying that it might not be true, but they wrote an entire article on it when Robin Williams died, and even included pictures of it. So this is something in lore that I don't like. And, Mark D with the C approaches his research in a very academic way, like I do. And so this is the kind of stuff that I don't like. This is the kind of stuff I get annoyed with. Because facts are actually factoids, and then they spread throughout the fandom. So it's very odd. If you go to StarTrek.com, there's an entire article about it. It's right after Robin Williams died, I believe it was published. They have a whole bunch of pictures, and then they're like, but we're not sure. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, I just think it's shameful and very strange. The budget was so severely cut that the extra crew in this episode are not actors. They're stuntmen, and they're recycled. This is one of Nichelle's best moments. In our century, we've learned not to fear words. And I have, look, it's the ever-expanding Shat. Nice girdle, Bill. Lincoln says, there is no honorable way to kill, no gentle way to destroy. There is nothing good in war except its ending. I would like you all to know that there is this awful thing going around on the internet where people believe that Lincoln said that. Lincoln did not say that. There is also some weird stuff on IMDb that the show authors wrote it. This is more of this stuff where user-generated content should not be believed. Gene Roddenberry wrote this story. Gene Roddenberry also wrote this teleplay. And Gene Roddenberry wrote those magnificent words. Not Abraham Lincoln and not some writer's room. I put here, and you can really see me as a Trekkie here, the real Trinity is back. The characters are restored. And then I have a comment. I don't know why Gene returned to do this episode. He had abandoned the corporate version of this show at the takeover stage, about the beginning of the mid-season. And this is not the strongest execution, but given everything happening behind the scenes, I stand by Gene.
Nice.
And that's all I have.
Very nice. And again, the characters are far more in character in this one.
Everybody's back to normal.
Yes, because all through this season we've been saying that, like, sometimes they just don't act like themselves. They did in the first 2 seasons.
Yeah,
and Roddenberry, of course, they're Roddenberry's characters. Sorry.
Yeah, because they've got fan people writing it, and they've got corporate people coming in and saying, "No, I want it like this." And literally, until both Jeans and Dorothy walked away, they were just like, "Look, we're not going to take this crap anymore." So, yeah,
absolutely, and so it's I like the hashtag restore the Gene verse. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
To address you real quick there, Septic Stream, did Kirk ever get with a Green later? Is that just kind of a misconception? Well, Hungan's destroy is slightly insinuated, but no, we don't know for sure about that, I don't think, unless you believe that happened in that one. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. So, yes, this episode has a lot of Trek in it.
Sorry to interrupt you, Captain. Snortopoopus. That's no moon. It's Shatner's stomach.
Oh, I saw that one, yeah. Oh, my goodness. So, yeah, I don't really have any problems with this episode. I like a lot of the stuff with Lincoln. You could, if you want to say it's silly, that's fine. I don't think it's that silly because there's a good explanation for it. And again, other writers probably would have made it where the characters for 1 second actually entertained that it's really Lincoln. They didn't. Kirk treated him a certain way because he was handling this situation intelligently, going along with what these aliens were doing, and I just loved that. I loved a lot of the interchanges with Kirk and Lincoln. To be honest with you, I like a lot of this. To me, that's the most enjoyable stuff of the episode.
Yeah. Lagerfan says, "How dare you girdle shame the shat?"
So I will get my wonderful first officer's rating on the Savage Curtain, and I'll give mine, and then I will ask our illustrious chat for theirs. So, number one, what is your rating for the Savage Curtain?
This episode is called The Savage Curtain, and I have been called in my life on more than one occasion a savage Gene Roddenberry fan, and that is just who I am. It's what I believe in. It's what I was raised on, and I am just very connected with this wonderful author. And he was an author. He wasn't a producer. He was an author, and I adore him. And so, very shamelessly, I'm going to say that he returned to spit in the face of these awful people who injected corporate Trek in and made a complete mess and made a complete fools out of themselves. So I'm going to say, long live Gene Roddenberry. And I'm going to say A- on this, fearlessly, because this is Savage Gene.
Now, there you go. That's it. Well, there you go. I'm going to go with a B. I think it's fairly. It's got a lot of good Trek in it, and I love what you were saying about Roddenberry. And
oh yeah, my grade is political. It's 100% political.
Oh no. Believe me, I'm going with a B because again, I just for the and maybe my review is just based on how the overall third season, the way the third season is, that when you get something that's definitely doesn't have a lot of things to moan about.
Yes.
So I'm a B on that one. So
I think that if they would have let him produce it, I think we could have had something much better here. But of course, we have Fred, the other F word, involved here. So
yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Toxic Man Flu, welcome.
TMF!
Good to see you,
baby.
TMF, good to see you, my friend. All right, so those are our ratings, my friends, and it looks like we have a rating from the great Lord Thoth. I believe that's our first rating. C, not a bad episode, interesting, better than Spectre of the Gun. I agree with that big time. I enjoyed the philosophical battle of good versus evil. It had a lot of good Trek ideas in it, filled in a few interesting historical Star Trek universe figures. Yes. Mm-hmm. Good one, sir. Absolutely. The great Dave Bob is a B. Interesting concept and historical figures, but it left me a little cold. Okay,
that's okay. I agree.
The planet was molten lava, buddy. Most of it. Steve mentioned A-. There have been at least 3 previous episodes with immortal humanoids, so I think that it's plausible that Kirk et al. Might have reason to believe that this might be Lincoln, another hero of mine. Well, that's a good. Yeah, I mean, look, it's a weird universe, and again, yeah, you never know. You never know.
I totally agree, Steve Mitchum.
A slight aside, Mike, what are your thoughts on the JJ verse? I have a feeling you both hate it. I hate the filth. Every bit of filth after 2005 is not Star Trek to me. It's Steino, Star Trek in name only. I hate all bad reboot and Jar Jar Abrams filth. And just because we're getting moving here, so I won't spend much time on that. But to answer your question, since you're new here, you don't know us, we don't consider that to be Star Trek at all. We're only reviewing real Trek here. People can like what they want to like. We're not attacking anyone, but I despise Jar Jar Abrams and Alex Klutzman, and anything they call Star Trek to me ain't Star Trek.
It's filth, and we don't talk about it.
Yeah, we call it filth. But the Septic's new here, so he doesn't know. So yes. I had no problem answering the question, and I appreciate the question. Thank you. Elagabulus, A++. Is that 2 pluses there?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Vulcan awesome. Vulcan, I got you. Boy, I'm slow. A Vulcan awesome episode. The Thing ripoff. The Thing ripoff didn't play fair. Yeah, he is the Thing. I guess he's the Thing. I like the Excaliburs, and you know what? For that budget, they made those things look pretty good. I thought.
I love the whole idea of it.
Yeah, I love it. Didn't play fair. Kirk's line. We'll execute appropriate honors for Lincoln felt too Boothian. Oh, dude. In the penalty box. That's terrible. Oh, my goodness. 15-yard penalty. Main lesson, never trust a thin Ernest Borgnine. Was there ever a thin Ernest Borgnine? No,
I don't think so.
Hey, I love Ernest Borgnine. What's wrong with you? Elagamus, you're bad. Bad. Bad.
I love you. That's a great review.
Doug, 35. C
That's
plus
fair.
from Doug 35.
That's fair, Doug.
Let's see here. Let's see. Absolutely. Snortabubus Cuba, a B minus. Sirach, Kalis, and Colonel Green join Star Trek lore. Indeed. Scotty goes his Highland. Yeah, with the kilt.
He does.
Uhura, you see, in our century, we've learned not to fear words. God, it's so well. In that century, that needs to be relearned in this century by some.
Yep.
I wish more people would adopt that.
Here, Snortapoopus.
I'm so with you there, absolutely, and yeah, absolutely. And again, I do love that really great moment between Lincoln and Uhura. I thought that was special. So yes, that was great stuff. But let's see here. D-Bud Martin, D, ludicrous redo of Arena. Abe in space. No, just no. At least it introduces Sirach. The Excalbium was actually great considering season 3 budgets.
It does have echoes of the Gamesters of Triskelion.
Or Arena, yeah.
Yeah, or Arena, but
yeah.
Well, you know.
That's cool. I liked it a lot better than that. But again, we were just talking about the Wade Eden a little while ago. So
yeah. I mean, yeah, and my guy got to come victorious and put a big middle finger into the 3rd season. Yes. So that's why I gave it such a high rating.
Eugene. In the Feliciano B, this had a great lore building and great dialogue, and it was decently written. Yeah, absolutely. My only issue with it is the usual manipulate the Trinity into a competition for the sake of the ship trope. For the sake of okay. Yeah, but I kind of like some of that stuff where McCoy and Scotty were looking at Kirk and Spock like, what the hell's wrong with you? There was, again, unlike a lot of other episodes with some dumb forced drama this season, that kind of made sense, for McCoy and Scotty to say, what the hell's, you guys, you're acting like this is Lincoln. But again, because of this, how well the dialogue is done from Roddenberry and this, they were more like, you guys don't really think that's Lincoln? Of course not. We know it's not. So, yeah. A minus for Sandra Feliciano. Some comparison of good and evil motivation. Fun characters. Absolutely.
Yep. Love that rating.
Zathras, rate down. Let's see here. Zathras. Sorry, Zathras. I do that to you all the time, but I love Zathras. He's a great character. The episode is a B from a bad season. It would have been an A episode if Chekhov, Bester, that's from a Babylon 5 reference, as is his name, Bester. But, Koenig was great as Bester, by the way. That's his best role ever. I know it's sacrilege. Bester would have mind wiped them all. Just saying, yeah, Bester would have, but Chekhov wasn't a telepath with the Psychor, buddy. That's Bester. Scuba. They called him Scuba Pete.
Oh boy,
Scuba Pete B plus.
Here we go.
I know people like to take this episode for granted, but I found the use of Lincoln a rather ingenious idea. Okay. All right.
I love you, Scuba Pete.
Go to your room, young man.
I love you. Go to the head of the class.
Yeah.
Love you, Scuba Pete. Oh, so good.
Well done. Actually, well done, Scuba. Oh, let's see here. Liger fan says, if I were to rate this episode, it'd suffer from Lincoln not telling anyone to be excellent to each other. Good Bill and Ted reference. Not even a party on, dude.
It's cute.
Yes, that was cute. A great Lincoln in that one as well. Yeah.
Snortapoopus said that review was a bit rocky.
From a distance in the screenshot, it looks like Captain Marvel examining that red. Yeah, he does. But he's Mark for Mark. Evidently. Let's see here. My Phantom Outsider says, B. Here's why. Lesson of good versus evil are eternal. The quality of original Trek. Evil woman. Evil woman. The claws on the alien remind me of the years later. Got it some more.
They make me want butter. Do you know what I mean? I want to get those, like king crab. You know what I mean, Scuba Pete?
Yeah.
Those claws have a lot of meat in them. Let's make some crab cakes.
It'll be wild if I can get to that one, Phantom Outsider, because I got so many there. But I will. B plus. I love the existential theme of good versus evil, and so yes, for me, good damn Star Trek from Rod Thunderheart. Thank you, my friend. Doug 35 had said earlier, and he says again, C plus. The Excalibur was interesting indeed. Brad Fisher. B for me.
Captain Cockney Spock just walked through the door.
Welcome, Captain Cockney. Welcome, Captain Cockney Spock. Good to see you there, old boy. Mark it with a C. A, 5 out of 5. Great balls of fire. Favorite episode as a kid with great action, wonderful moral philosophies expounded, and a great quote that should be true today by Uhura, 1 of 2. It takes me a while to get to those second parters, my friend. Sorry. Oh, well, there it is right there. I can see it in this case. But why should I object to that term, sir? You see, in our century, we've learned not to fear words, but in the 21st century, we feared them again. Sorry.
Very powerful if you're a kid growing up in the 1970s. This will shape the way you think and feel about everything around you. And yeah, it's just wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Hey, Scepter Stream, our philosophy is here is even if we don't like something, we're gonna tell you, we'll be honest with you. But if you disagree, like what you gotta like. We're all friends here no matter what. It's never a problem.
That's right.
Absolutely. Katie Carr, B. Katie is a B on that one. Gives it
Gotcha,
the B.
Katie.
Yep, same as me, Katie. Let's see here. By the way, Brad Fisher says, by the way, the uniform indeed was used for just the Happy Days appearance with more before the series. Okay, nice. Thank you, Brad. One in the series. Let's see. The one in the series was retailored. Also, an environmental suit from the Tholian Web was also used in Mork and Mindy. Oh yeah. Right.
Apparently that was confirmed by Block and in this book that DC Fontana christened. But I find it odd that StarTrek.com doesn't want to lay claim to it. It's a very weird thing.
Weird indeed. Katie Carr, the Rock Monster looks like he is from the Never-Ending Story. I'm one of the few who hasn't really seen that, but I know all about it. I've heard of it. And this is continuing from Phantom Outsider. He meant the years later, Dr. Detroit, with the line, I make adjustments to the human spine. Also, did Lincoln ever ask how to play our American cousin in it? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, sir. I'm afraid even I just don't know, sir. Canadian Spider-Man B plus. Okay, mostly because the aliens were creative and I'm drinking.
I love it, Steve. Cheers, sweetheart.
Yes, it would work in Galaxy Quest TMF. Absolutely. Let's see. Well, we're almost ready to move on to our next one, but we got a couple more to go. Pat S. B. Is that Colby? Colby? I don't know what you say. Colby, you are a star. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm an idiot. The star of the show every Saturday. Colby, you are the star of the show every Saturday. I don't know who that is. However, we would be remiss if we let the night fade without having a huge thank you to co-host. Oh, I think he means Clobby. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I got you. The co-host, head of R&D and cool chick Raquel. Let's give her a chat. One. Yeah, absolutely.
I love you, Pat. Thanks.
Sorry I botched that, Pat. Pat S. is the man.
Pat, we are coming to your neck of the woods. We are going to have such a good time at ClobbyCon, and you have to show me around. I'm so excited. My husband's excited about this whole trip. I'm bringing down cosplays. As soon as that border opens, we're getting this done, and it's going to be a riot.
Indeed, it's just septic stream. I hear you. Don't never have to worry about that. You're not alone in there, and I understand it. It's not a problem. We appreciate you. Look, there, people. Look.
Aw, you guys, I love you so much.
What's that one? Margaret C said one. What's that?
I think they're referring to me because Pat S said, throw one in the chat.
Oh, okay. Did he? I must have been. I'm sorry.
Very kind.
I'm not to there yet, I guess.
Very kind of all of you. You guys are the best chat. in the whole universe. Just absolutely love you guys. You know, you're way more than a chat. You're a community. And one day we're going to get together and it's going to be hysterical and wonderful. Thank you so much.
Indeed, indeed. Janet from Another Planet says, I loved what her replied back to Lincoln, but why should I object to that term? You see, in our center, we've learned not to fear words. I do, too. I really love that, Janet. Absolutely. Just wish that was still true today. So absolutely. It's a very timely message and needs to be heeded big time by a lot of people, Janet. So, yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Let's see here. I'll make sure we're trying to get all of our reviews in here. Phoenix Argus, B-. This type of battle has been done before, but because it had an amazing reply to Lincoln's comment, it does well. And with Gene giving the finger to the suits, it does well. However, the damage is done. Absolutely, Phoenix, that's absolutely.
What a great comment. Like yes. I want to just stick that comment on this stream for the rest of the show. It's so good, Phoenix Argus. So good to have you here and so happy that you showed up tonight. And I always love your comments. So yeah. Woo!
Absolutely. Very, very, very well said. Thank you so much.
I can't
Phoenix.
believe that they were so vicious with these three talented people that they chased them away. And I'm so happy Gene got to give the finger right back.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. We appreciate that so much. We love Gene Roddenberry here. So let me see. I think we're about ready to move on to our next episode, my friends. I'm way behind on the chat, everyone, because of the way this thing works. So I just want to catch up to it. All those ones.
Skeptic stream just put vodka in a vanilla peanut butter milkshake. What are you doing to me? What are you doing to me?
What the hell's wrong with you, boy?
Although I can't drink heavy alcohol, I don't like it. It always gives me a stomach ache. I'm a beer girl.
Let's see here. We're almost. I think I'm almost current, everyone. I hope we didn't miss anyone, my friends.
Spurpees are magnetized, so lava monsters attract them like flies on watermelon. Toxic man flu.
Indeed, wow.
I love you. I missed you last week.
Let's see here. I'm sorry, I had to answer someone there.
Skeptic stream, I believe you. It does sound tasty.
Indeed. Deedishness. Well, everyone, I do believe, and let me fix my screen there again. All right. Well, I do believe we're ready to move on to our penultimate episode. We're ready to move on to the next one. If you are, number one.
Well, this is a huge one from my childhood again. This is a massive one, obviously, because of who is in this episode, Zarabeth. And especially on Canadian television, because, of course, many of your commercials are blocked from Canada due to CanCon laws. So Mariette Hartley just stands right out for me. So here we are, folks.
All our yesterdays.
Yes, all our yesterdays, season 3, episode 23. And believe it or not, I'm going to say it out loud, just to christen it here, prod code 78. Can you believe this wonderful journey we've been on as a community? Wow. We've arrived at 78.
We started the first week of January, and here we are 20 episodes later on episode 20, reviewing all of the original series. And yes, here we go with 2 more to go. Wow.
Let's do it. So please turn to page 341, 342, or brick or tile 341, 342 from the block text. And just a reminder, I read extemporaneously. I don't have time for hours to read all of this and to practice it. So when I deliver it, it's extemporaneous. So if I make some errors along the way, especially with all of the made up language and the sort of messed with language, please forgive me. But let's get to it. The star Beta Niobe is about to go nova. When it does, Sarpedion, the only planet in the Beta Niobe system, will be destroyed. The planet is known to be home of an advanced human civilization. Yet, when the Enterprise arrives, sensors show no sign of its inhabitants. Kirk, Spock, and McCoy beam to the surface and find it deserted, except for a librarian named Atoz, who explains that he has used the Atavachron, an artificial time portal to send the residents to various eras of their own distant past. Invited by Mr. Atoz to use the Atavachron to examine the different historical eras, the Enterprise trio inadvertently passes through the portal into Sarpedian's past. Kirk to an era equivalent to Earth's 17th century, where strangers like him were regarded with suspicion, and Spock and McCoy into the planet's deadly ice age. Kirk attempts to find his way back to the library, led the locals to believe he's a witch, and he's thrown in jail. In the meantime, thousands of years earlier, Spock carries a frostbitten McCoy to a cave inhabited by a beautiful exile named Zarabeth. She explains that they cannot go back to their own time because the Atavachron automatically alters their cellular structure when they pass through the portal. If they attempt to return, they'll die. It doesn't automatically do that. They're supposed to be prepared. Anyways, I'll correct that after. When Spock and McCoy are tossed 5,000 years into the past, Spock displays passionate emotions and violent mood swings. The two men eventually come to the conclusion that the Vulcan is reverting to a warlike barbarian, just like his ancestors in that era. But what if McCoy? He's in the same situation, and yet he doesn't seem to be reverting at all. He's still the same grouchy humanitarian that Star Trek viewers had who had grown to know and love. Yes, I agree with that. Perhaps it's because humans, as opposed to Vulcans, have pretty much always been barbarians. At least that's how Kirk explains his behavior in A Taste of Armageddon. Oh, they've watched a few achievements scattered here and there between wars and more personal acts of violence. They built great monuments, often using slave labor, domesticated wild horses, which they used to conquer their neighbors, developed agriculture, and plundered food stocks of other nations. In other words, it was pretty much business as usual for McCoy, which may be why there was such a big contrast between him and his favorite Vulcan, whose culture changed far more drastically over the millennia. Oh, wow, there's lots of text on this page. All Our Yesterdays throws Star Trek's top trio into jeopardy with a storyline that includes time travel, separation, isolation, injury, and even personality disruption. All standard plot devices used throughout the series. And yet the episode stands out for a specific reason. It's the love story in which Mr. Spock gets the girl. Spock fell in love once before in This Side of Paradise, but only because he was under the influence of microscopic spores. That's actually not true. We don't know how he felt about her because he had worked with her 7 years earlier. So that's not true. This time, he's not under the influence of anything artificial, particularly not the restrictive emotional restraints that Vulcans have so carefully adopted over a millennia. Freed from those shackles, Spock's inner personality emerges, giving him the freedom to kiss, to hold, to fall in love. Seeing the Vulcan behave so humanly, and watching Leonard Nimoy shake the cobwebs off of what had become by this time a set-in-stone type of performance is a distinct pleasure. Strangely, it's the usually over-emotional McCoy who is the most level-headed leg of this Arctic menage. And he makes it clear that he just doesn't trust the beautiful Zarabeth. She would do anything to prevent a life of loneliness, he tells Spock. She would lie, she would cheat, she would even murder the captain, the entire crew of the Enterprise, just to keep you here with her. In the end, of course, as in many great romantic dramas, think The City on the Edge of Forever, Spock is destined to lose Zarabeth. In fact, that his love would be short-lived was predicted in the title, derived from Shakespeare's line from Macbeth, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to a dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. A happier fate awaited Mariette Hartley. the talented actress who had played Zara Beth. Although she performed in several films, Hartley spent most of her career in television, and audiences of a certain age will likely recall her as the teasing co-star with James Garner in the extremely popular Polaroid commercials that the pair made in the late 1970s. Yes. The chemistry between the two was so engaging that millions of Americans became convinced that they were actually husband and wife. They weren't. Well, I never thought that because James Garner couldn't get married. That was just wrong for me as a fan. To fans of all things related to Star Trek, however, Hartley was equally memorable as the mutant Lyra A in the Genesis 2. I love Genesis 2.
Genesis 2, that's right.
A 2-hour made-for-TV movie written and produced by Gene Roddenberry in 1973. Yes, it's beautiful. Watch Genesis 2. Genesis 2 was one of several science fiction pilots that Gene Roddenberry created post-Star Trek. None, however, made it to series. Hartley's character in Genesis 2 was a denizen of the 22nd century who possessed a dual circulatory system, yes, with 2 hearts and 2 navels. This is alleged to be Roddenberry's revenge against the years of being told by NBC Standards and Practices Department to hide Star Trek actresses' navels, including Hartley's as Zarabeth. Yeah, they kept on going back and forth on it with him, and he began to see it as harassment. And if you're listening at home, I would just like to stop and say, Majel Barrett, she actually confirmed that Roddenberry did do that as an act of revenge. So here, Block says it's alleged. No, we have Majel on tape saying that it was. Anyway, in addition to her acting career, Hartley actively dedicates her energies to the field of suicide prevention. And in the book, we have a lovely picture of them kissing. The files of Mr. Atos's library appear to be early versions of CDs or DVDs, shiny discs that, when inserted into a machine, display the recorded information encoded on them. The similar appearance makes it fun to speculate whether or not these props from all our yesterdays may have influenced the CD inventors. The speculation, however, proves unfounded. The man behind the real discs was American physicist, inventor, and music lover James T. Russell, who was irked by the inevitable scratches that threatened his collection of vinyl records. Russell hoped to find a sturdier medium for storing music, and his employer, Battelle Memorial Institute, supported his search for the digital solution. Russell soon realized that representing the binary on-off with tiny bits of dark and light would allow a laser device to read sounds or any information without damaging the source. Well, that's a far cry from putting a penny on the needle of the record like I did. By making the binary code extremely compact, he managed to fit large amounts of digital data and music onto compact discs. Russell started his research in 1965. That would be well before All Our Yesterdays, which aired on March 14, 1969. Although his digital to optical recording and playback system was not patented until 1970. And that is all the block text has to say about All Our Yesterdays. I'm going to throw it over to the chat and to Clobby. Hey guys, what'd you think of this?
Interesting. I got it. By the way, Marion Hartley. Oh, I've always loved her.
She's beautiful. Like, I grew up like just thinking that she was just the most gorgeous woman. I adore her.
Yeah, she's great, and I love of course Genesis 2, and of course I'm a huge fan of the Rockford Files. So I always liked. She was actually on an episode of that, and then of course she started doing those commercials. I love Rockford Files. Is one of the greatest shows.
Rockford Files.
I didn't know you knew. I didn't know you knew Rockford. God, it's one of my favorite shows.
That's one of my favorite shows.
Oh. Just one of the. In
my opinion, hear the music in my head right now.
Oh God, yeah. They used to play it on back then. They used to play it on the radio all the time. It was like a radio hit. Was so big, and that Mike Post theme and Rockford. Of course, I love that. I love that Firebird, but I love his car. But also Rockford Files. I mean, that was just my opinion, greatest detective show ever made. But anyway, I love her, and she was on an episode, and of course, those commercials. So I always love Marion Hartley. I got to tell you, the Atabacron stuff. This episode has some good things. This one kind of bothers me, like a lot of third season ones do, in terms of its concept.
Yeah.
Because remember how I've said on multiple occasions, like, you don't have to explain the City on the Edge of Forever for me, or the Guardian of Forever to me. You don't have to explain certain things. But when you throw it out there and you make it need an explanation and you don't have a good one, I have a problem. If you just say this happened, fine.
Yes.
The Atavachron thing, I want to know again. This episode has a lot of good dramatic impact with Spock and Zarabeth and some of the stuff with Spock and McCoy. I just don't understand why what would make him. He's traveled in time before. Why he's going to revert back to his Vulcan caveman period? That is not well explained to me. I know he wasn't processed by the Atavachron, but why? But here's another question: why would the people of Sarpedon, with that kind of technology, a technology that allows them to easily go back anywhere in time they want? First of all, aren't they screwing with their own history by doing that? The Atavachron, I don't know. Why do they have to be processed? It's just a plot hole.
Well, not only that, why are they Irish and Sarpedon or whatever is another play on Greek. So why would they have Greek culture and Irish culture? And then of course we have Phantom Outsiders saying it's Atavachron.
Yeah, Atavachron.
That's the made up way to say it, Phantom Outsider, but there's actually a Greek and a Latin way to pronounce the morphemes in that made up word, which is why when I see it in writing, I'm just going to automatically revert to Greek. That's the way I deal with them taking Greek and trying to stuff it into Latin and then trying to turn it into English.
Right. Katie has to run.
So good night, Katie.
Katie, we love you, dear. Great to see you as always. Thank you so much for popping in, dear. Sorry about that. I just wanted to say goodbye to Katie.
No, that's okay.
I hope she heard that. I want to shout out, by the way, I love the friend of mine who I don't think is in the chat, my wonderful friend Tony. If you're listening, dear, I love you. I hope you hear the shout out because she said she was listening. And she's a very dear friend of mine. And I love you. And I don't think she's seen this episode yet, but she has been watching a lot of Trek. So I love you. And we love you too, Katie. So thank you for being here tonight. But yeah, I just think that when you create too many whys, it kind of, and then a few whys are all right.
Yeah.
Tons of whys. Like, why in the hell do they send people back in time? Billions of, not just like water, too, billions. They pick the time. No, I get it. They're advanced, so they study, how to go live in that time period, I guess. But remember, that doesn't jibe with what Zarabeth said about some horrible dictator who used the Atavachron to send her back. So if they got a rotten, horrible, monstrous dictator messing, sitting her back in time instead of just killing her or whatever, and who could mess around with time, why is he sending? Why is it nice and peaceful where Mr. Ataz processes you? You pick what time you want to go in. Not much makes sense here at all.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I was also pretty shocked that the block text said that they were automatically processed when actually they weren't. Like going
they were not.
Yeah,
that's what allowed them to come back.
Yeah.
Yes. Again, I'm not really trying to be that rough on it, because I love her. Why Spock would revert like that? McCoy didn't, and of course they tried. The blocks kind of try to make an explanation or an excuse for it.
Mm-hmm.
If this one is not one of those that goes too well with the think test, but again, it's not that it's not entertaining or anything like that, and certainly there's a lot of worse ones than that, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense, if you see what I'm saying. I hate to beat up on it or anything like that. I'm just,
Mm-hmm.
So that's just for me. I used to have the photo novel of this one, by the way. They used to remember those old photo novels from the 70s?
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, you have some notes, I'm sure.
Yes. I just wanted to finish up by also saying to Phantom Outsider, the word is actually Atavus. And Kron. So Atavus means like ancestor, and Kron comes from chronology. So made up word. But if you're wondering why I pronounce it that way, it's like when you see it in writing and it's a made up word, it's not really easy to read, just so you know.
Yes.
Anyway, so for all our yesterdays, I said the title is taken from Macbeth, Act 5, Scene 5. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this pretty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time. and all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. And of course, it means, Macbeth is trying to express the meaninglessness of life, and that's why he uses the coordinating conjunction tomorrow, tomorrow, and tomorrow. That's why Shakespeare uses it to just show how it seems like life is so long, and then you get to the end of it and you don't know why it happened.
Sure.
And I have more belly button BS, but since that was covered by Block, I'm not going to talk about it. And this is the same computer as Assignment Earth.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, if you're looking at that computer and you're like, hey, that looks familiar, it's because it is familiar. All you need is a black cat. Fun episode, cool concepts. Love when Spock and McCoy have to force themselves through the Harry Potter wall. And that's well, it's very obvious that I have stream brain. What's the lady's name? J.K. Rowling. It's obvious she was definitely inspired by standing in front of a rock and being pushed through it. So I think that's neat.
Did we lose? You there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm here.
Oh, okay.
That's just it for me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's all. That's all I have to say on the episode. You said everything I wanted to say, and some of the stuff Block said is kind of the stuff I wanted to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not without its entertaining bits or moments, anything like that. It's just also not one of my. Certainly, I mean, again, in that third season, I mean, it's certainly not horrific or anything like that. I would not say that. No. I just thought it was kind of suffers from some of the same leaps in logic and quote unquote not even pseudoscience, like fantasy stuff that we see in the third season. But again, all things can be better with Mariette Hartley, folks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I will ask my extraordinary first officer now for her rating on all our yesterdays, and then I'll give mine, and then I will ask our illustrious chat. So, number one, what is your rating for all our yesterdays?
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go against all of the modern ratings. So if you see a lot of modern ratings, like if you're looking at Sci-Fi magazine, or if you're looking at the Hollywood Reporter or Den of the Geek or any of these people, they're going to tell you that this is like a top episode. It cracks like the top 30.
Really?
It's a must watch. It is essential Trek, and so on and so forth. I don't really think so. I think it's kind of cool and I love it, but it's just a B for me.
Okay, absolutely. Well, I understand it. By the way, our great, I'll get to it in a second. My rating is a C- on this one, and as you all know, for a third seasoner, that's not too much, not a rough meat, not a rough, not too terrible of a rating considering what season we're in for me. So,
yeah.
Before we get to the ones in the chat now, everyone can give us their ratings. We got Phoenix Argus jumped the gun on me. I'm gonna get to yours in a second. Our good buddy Lord thought I had to leave. Sorry, Lord thought you had to go, my brother, but he left his rating of this one and the next one, and that would be a C. So Lord Thought says C.
That's fair. I mean, it's fair. I mean, this episode doesn't reach some people.
Yeah, and that's not far down either. It's not like
no, it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
No.
Phoenix Argus, however, does say A-. Much of the points have been consumed by Mariette Hartley and her outfit.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I can hear you there. However, the Atavachron annoys me, and Spock's mental regression felt silly to me. Yeah, it was a plot device in a sense. It's plot device writing in a sense. Oh, another thing I should say: have you ever heard of the term the idiot plot?
No.
Well, I used to watch Siskel and Ebert a lot back in the 80s and 90s, whatever. And they would rightly criticize the film when it had, quote, the idiot plot, which they did in sitcoms a lot. For example, when you can solve an issue with about three sentences, and thus you don't have a story.
I think I have heard of this. Yes. I think I have heard of this. Yes.
If this had happened, when Mr. Atos greets the Kirk, Spock, McCoy, we're from another. We're not we're not from your world. We were here to, and they explained to him in 3 seconds why they're there. He could tell them, no. We're doing this thing. This is what's going on, and they would have respected that. Go, okay, well, it's kind of strange. You guys just shouldn't build spaceships and stuff and fly off. But if you can go back in your own history, that's your business. We don't interfere. We'll see you later. Bye. You don't have when a couple of lines can save you from having an episode. That's called the idiot plot, and I don't like it. Sorry, I don't want to mess anyone's view of the episode.
I love you. No, it's great. I love it.
Oh, almost forgot. It's just kind of again. And by the way, I've enjoyed some things that you could still go, that had idiot plot. But so again, I think it was Ebert that used to talk about that. I used to love those guys. And that's true, by the way. I remember Yesterday's Sun, that Anne Crispin novel. I didn't read it, but I remember hearing. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Number one, but she wrote a novel about how Zarabeth and Spock had a fun. And Mark D with a C said he read it. Said it was a fantastic read. Well, there you go.
Yeah, I heard that they made 2 books about this.
Could be. Oh yeah, well, there you go, right there. Yep, that's Asking You Show. Received. That was called Time for Yesterday. I believe Anne passed a while back, but she's written a lot of Trek books.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. All right, let's get to our reviews.
Some of these reviews are already really good. There's some doozies. And TMF is just coming out swinging.
All our belly button yesterday.
Yeah.
Good one, Captain. Let's see here. Septic. Did you give the? I must have missed it. If you jumped the gun on me, I could have missed it. This is a very finicky chat. So I don't have it anymore, sir, or my friend. I don't have it anymore. I can't see it. Things disappear, as you know. Apollo Minya had to run. Apollo, thank you for being here. Well, she can't hear me now, I guess, but I'm sorry about that. I backtracked. I could not find it. Septic. I apologize. I don't know what happened to it. Things disappear on this chat after a while on my StreamYards. So I do apologize. If you would not mind posting that up, because that's why I always have someone wait until we're done with our rating so we can catch them easier. But I thank you. Well, you're new here. You probably didn't know that, but it's cool. B for belly button for Captain Cotton Spot.
Yeah.
Yes.
So much belly button, like it became harassment at that point.
Indeed. Doug 35. C. And C minus, and the minus is for Hartley. You didn't like? Does that mean you didn't like Miss Hartley?
I have no idea.
I don't know, but
C and the minus is for Hartley. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, the minus of the belly button thing.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Or maybe Doug maybe Doug 35 doesn't dig her. Maybe Doug doesn't dig her.
Dig Dug. I remember the game Dig Dug. I love that.
Dig Dug was a good game.
Great game. Sandra Feliciano. B. How can they be sure they won't affect their own history? That's what got me. I mean, the Catavacron, their paradoxes, not just, again, billions of people, too, placed in different time periods.
Choosing
where they're going to
go.
That's not going to be bad, is it?
Well, yeah, especially because if they chose it, then it means that there's something about it that they're attracted to. So obviously they're going to change their own history.
No, I'm sure they go through a training thing on, hey, don't do this and don't do that. By the way, if they have such an Earth type of a history, like with the witches and all that stuff, like the time that Kirk ended up in,
yeah.
It must be later, I guess, where they had this evil dictator that put Zarabeth in the past. Obviously, he must have used the Atavacron to do that. So I guess maybe that, if you want to try to make that as an excuse why they didn't leave the planet, maybe he said, let it all be destroyed by the Nova.
I just like that where Kirk went, there was like a drunk Irish lady, just rando style. It's like, okay, what are you doing here?
Indeed. But Sandra, you're right. The paradoxes were not addressed.
Yeah, Sandra's totally right.
Indeed. D-Bud Martin, C minus. This one just doesn't do it for me. The Kirk sub-story was silly, costume drama, yes. The Spock McCoy story was more interesting, but just too out of character for Spock, as you've discussed.
Yeah, it is.
I don't like the explanation. Again, when you give an explanation for Spock being out of character, it's fine, but the regressive, just because he's in another time. What if he went back to Vulcan of that time period in the time, and the Enterprise goes back in time all the time? Would he go down with all the savage Vulcans and just become one? It doesn't make no sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all, and it's annoying. But at least we get to see her in Clan of the Cave Bear.
It's worth it. That's worth it. And he fell in love really quick too. Well, yes. I'm to be fair, I would with Marianne Hartley as well.
She's gorgeous.
Oh God, yeah, love her. One of my favorite ladies.
And no makeup. She's a no makeup gorgeous too.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You know how like nowadays everybody uses so much Photoshop, they might as well be catfishing. Right. I memean, this is a gorgeous woman. She is just absolutely beautiful without a stitch of makeup, and she's marvelous.
Fantastic, absolutely. Elagabalus, B+. Monty Python meets Ice Station Zebra. Ice Station Zebra, good film, man. I love Monty Python. Enjoyed Spock's regression versus McCoy's logic. Kirk was a plot device. Mr. Atos X3, by the way, the guy Mr. Atos was, of course, in Bread and Circuses, was annoying. Klobby Khan plus Raquel plus Zarabeth cosplay very sore. You'll never know, buddy. Pat S. B-. When I was a kid and I confused Marianne Hartley and Catherine Crosby. You may mean Kathy Lee Crosby. Maybe I'm not sure though. I don't know. My pop would hit me with a bad
Valencia.
Of Valencia. A bad of Valencia.
No, a bag
oranges.
of Valencia oranges.
Bag, okay.
Or
a bag
a belt.
Of Valencia oranges. Or a belt. It was just like having Bing as a dad. Bing Crosby. Yeah, that was. I think you mean Kathy Lee Crosby then.
Yeah.
By the way, Daddy loved Rockford too. Well, I used to watch Rockford with my dad, but he usually let my mom hit me with the belt, not him. Sorry.
I haven't. Was it Kathy Lee Crosby on That's Incredible?
I believe so. She also was the first woman to play Wonder Woman before Lindy Carter in the TV pilot.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. That's where I'm remembering her from.
If that's who he's speaking of, and I guess he is.
Yeah,
I think he is. Bing's daughter.
I like that Pat S.'s family had Valencia oranges.
Indeed. That's an outsider. B for Hartley. The regression is Atavachron related, and or so headcanon tells me it's lucky Spock didn't leave McCoy to die. Imagine having to drag a corpse back. One. I will get to the when I can find it, I'll get to the next one. Phantom Buddy. Toxic Man Flu says D-. This was a bad episode in just about every way. The planet was a pretty color though. Oh yeah. Well, there's that. As the kids say, there's that, right? Or in Feliciano, Raymond.
Yeah.
B-. I had a crush on Marianne Hartley, who didn't, as a kid and growing up. But looking back now, it was a meh. But if you leave your brain shut down, you can enjoy it. Fair enough. Mine shut down all the time, so there you go. Sect Extreme. Amazing episode. This gives Spock a ton of dimensions and shows that he has a weakness, just like any human. Not to mention, it explores the lore of Vulcans. I give it an A. Thank you so much, Septic String. A high review from our new friend, Septic String. We thank you for that.
And definitely not septic.
Reviews.
Yeah,
not at all. Not at all. Well, hey, look, we love all reviews from everyone. So
yes, we do.
And they call him Scuba Pete C+. Just a weird one, but Hartley.
Right, yes, Scuba Pete? Totally.
Yeah, buddy. Love it. Yeah. One of two for Snorter Pubis Cooper. D. Wow. We had a lot. We were running the gamut of reviews from,
I love
big time. There seem to be a lot of Novas in Federation space. Yes.
So true.
Wow.
So
and that's, they don't do a lot of damage, apparently. The basic idea is interesting, but the parallel with 17th century England seems too easy in terms of costumes and language and budget. Another one of those parallel worlds. Yes, it's weird. I'll get to the. I'll do your second part since I actually found it. For Zor Khan, as she called him, Zor Khan. Someone is taking awful risk changing his timeline. Back in past, someone could kill an ancestor in a race.
Yeah.
Just really, wow. It just again, Roddenberry wasn't in charge of that one. Yeah, just no way it could have been. No way.
Fred. Thanks, Fred.
The fact that no one knows what the dictator did shows he was really good at hiding his misdeeds. Perhaps he was the inventor of the machine, and once deposed, they found the sun was going nova. You got me, man. You never know. Brad Fisher says. B for me, again. A for Mariette. Oh, yes. Yeah. As I found her to be the most honestly real and smart female character since number one. I mean, she is actually well played as well. But Sarah Beth, again, it's just a shame she wasn't in more because, man, I just always loved her.
She's gorgeous.
Pat S. Guys, I should run, but my foot hurts, so I'll just sit here till the end of the show. And Pat S., I'm sorry your foot hurts, brother.
Well, yeah, I shouldn't be laughing, but I just love that response. It's a great response. I hope your foot feels better, so just sit tight.
Sort of reminds me of that line from Hawkeye and MASH. I'd like to stay, but that would keep me from leaving.
I actually remember him saying that.
I love that one. I
love that show.
Those first 3 seasons were some of the funniest television ever. Phantom Outsider. If that's the case, he would be a monster and the savior of his planet population. That's number 3.
Yeah.
Doug 35. No accounting for taste. Never liked Hartley or Dynamo. Okay, that was from earlier.
I get you.
For that matter. Well, that you're right. Hey, not everybody likes the same things there, my friend. It's not a problem.
I love how much Phantom Outsider has thought about the inside world that could occur in the storytelling here. Very good. Yeah. You can tell that you are a true science fiction fan, Phantom Outsider.
Yep. He knows his comics and his science fiction.
Phantom, I mean. Sorry. After 2 hours and 40 minutes, my eyes start to see cross-eyed. Sorry about that.
Mark D with a C, B-, 3 out of 5. Stone knives and bearskins. Lots of plot holes. Mr. Atos is an idiot. Despite all 3 of them probably are. Despite the best name ever for a librarian, Mr. A to Z. Yes, that is.
Yeah, and I seem to remember, Mark, that the author of this particular story actually got the name from their real librarian at university. I'd have to look that up, but I'm pretty sure that is the case.
Oh,
let me just go and look at that up, but I'm pretty sure it's true.
Could be. 2 of 2. Hartley is a pleasure to watch, and Spock as a Savage Vulcan is interesting, but can we stop with the time travel, please? Yeah, we've talked about time travel in Trek before, how it can be, I hate the word, but problematic, but yes. P.S. Plus, we never got to find out if Kirk is a witch and floats. Yes. If she was the same as a witch. Now, if she was the same as a duck, she is therefore a witch. Let's see. All right. I think we may have gotten everything now. Oh, no. Yeah, we might have it all. Let's see here. Bop, bop, bop. Okay, let's see here. Maybe we may be ready to move on to what kind of episode. I think we got Matthew Pounder. Welcome.
Hey, welcome. Yeah, Mark D with the C, that it is true. She did make that claim. She did make that claim that it was based, I believe it was based on her librarian at university. And you like looking that kind of stuff up, Mark. So you should know that.
Mark D with the C is the man. Catherine is correct. She was in Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. Catherine? Who was in Seventh Voyage of Sinbad? Catherine Cosby? Is he speaking of? I guess it could be. Maybe I don't know who he's talking about. Well, he'll let us know. I'm sure he'll clear that up. Brad Fisher. I remember
Catherine Lee Crosby, and what was his name? Davidson. What was his first name? That's incredible.
Yeah, was it like John Davidson or something?
It was like John Davidson. Clubby, I love you.
I remember that show. And then it was real. Yeah, let's see that. I think we got everybody.
I'm Catherine Lee Crosby. And I'm John Davidson.
Okay, Catherine was different from Kathy Lee. Were they sisters or something?
Oh, I don't know.
Cool. Yeah. By the way, in that first Kathy, the bad pilot, as you call it, Brad Fisher, we all know the great Ricardo Montalban was in that.
Yes.
So, yeah. All right, everyone. I do believe we are ready to push on to. Oh my goodness! Oh,
What?
I just thought of something. This is our last episode, folks.
It is.
We're about to move on to review our last episode. We've been doing this since the first week in January. This is number 20 of our Star Trek reviews show, and we're moving on next week to the animated series. So right now, as Johnny Carson used to say, I hold in my hand the final envelope. And then they would clap and he would curse the audience. I can't really quote any of them, but yes, Karnak. Yeah, the last episode, Karnak. you got that one.
I love Karnak.
Yep, I love when Carson would do the Karnak bit. Okay, well, here we go. Well, look, we still got plenty of Trek to go. It's just the original series is about to end here, but it'll still be the same characters because we'll be animated next week. So I hope you all are interested in that.
Yeah, and just be aware that we're doing 66 all the way to 2005. So
yeah, we're doing all of Trek. We're just gonna, after the animated series and after the original series movies, we'll move on to a different crew, but we're going to be trekking, folks.
We are.
Absolutely. So let's see here. If everyone is ready, we'll move. This is our final episode of Star Trek: The Original Series. Turnabout Intruder is a go. Go
it
for
is.
it. Number 1.
Turnabout Intruder, Season 3, Episode 24, Prod Code 79. Season 3. TOS. Oh, I'm going to miss it. Snortapoopus said that he was going to cry icy tears.
Oh, I'm sorry, everyone.
He's a sad bear. Snortapoopus.
Even the third season, it makes them sad to see that. Even though it's third season, that tells you something.
I know, Scuba Pete. I can't believe we're here either. All right. If you have the block, if you have the block in front of you, if you have the block brick in front of you, we're on 345, 346. I read extemporaneously. There's lots of made-up language here. I'm going to do my best. Be nice to me. Let's do it. The Enterprise receives a distress call from the planet Camus 2, where a group of scientists who were exploring the ruins of a dead civilization is reported to be dying of radiation exposure. The expedition leader is a woman named Janice Lester, an old flame of Kirk's from his days at Starfleet Academy. Lester has come to despise the captain because he was able to achieve what she never could, command of a starship. When Kirk and McCoy beam down, they learn that most of Lester's party already has passed away. Is Block an adult author? Anyway, and Lester herself seems to be on the verge of death. But Kirk learns too late that Lester apparently has faked her illness and killed her own staff to lure Kirk into a trap. She's discovered an alien device on Camus 2 that is capable of swapping minds between two individuals. Before Kirk knows what's happened, she's incapacitated him and transferred her mind to Kirk's body and his into hers. At long last, she will be captain of the Enterprise. But in order to hang on this hard-won victory, she must take care of one final detail: kill Kirk. Considering how forward-thinking the producers of Star Trek were, it seems ironic that in the final episode of the series, indeed, one in which Gene Roddenberry received story credit, but not teleplay credit, had at its core the premise that women were not fit to command starships. This is from a man whose original template for Star Trek: The Cage placed a female first officer on the bridge of the Enterprise, suggesting that Starfleet considered a woman capable of commanding a starship, at least when the captain wasn't around. Avid followers of the show did not want to accept Lester at her word when she lamented that females were excluded from Kirk's world of starship captains. Surely she was just referring to Kirk, saying in effect, I couldn't be a permanent part of your life because you're a captain and you have no room in your life for a significant other. But that's a weak argument considering Kirk's response to Lester's original statement. No, it isn't fair, and you punished and tortured me because of it. Kirk supports the truth of Lester's statement, although it seems he doesn't necessarily support Starfleet's stand. Roddenberry himself was in a similar position. The powers that be at NBC had decreed that he couldn't put a woman in command, and he yielded to that battle. It is conceivable that he was addressing that conflict as a parting shot. It isn't Kirk or him who is sexist. It is Kirk's superiors, read the network. Years later, however, when questioned about Lester's statement, Roddenberry admitted that the line was simply sexist. He made up for it in Star Trek The Next Generation, establishing a number of female captains and even female admirals within Starfleet. Roddenberry's successors took things even further, contradicting the original series with the character of Starfleet Captain Erica Hernandez in Star Trek Enterprise, which takes place 100 years before Kirk's time.
Yep.
As Star Trek finales go, Turnabout Intruder doesn't seem to measure up to the last acts later offered by producers of subsequent Star Trek series, Star Trek The Next Generation, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Voyager, or Star Trek Enterprise. To be fair, however, those series had advance notice that they would be ending their respective runs, which gave their producers time to plan for a finale that would be jam-packed with action, suspense, danger, and a guaranteed lump in the throat finish. When Turnabout Intruder went into production, cast and crew were hoping against hope to hear that there would be a fourth season of the show. Alas, the show's death knell was sounded not long after the episode wrapped. Despite the absence of a heroic send-off, everyone involved in the episode gave 100%, especially William Shatner, who came down with a bad flu during the filming. The behind-the-scenes crew had given the script the joking title, Captain Kirk's Space Queen. It was up to Shatner to avoid camping up his performance to the point where the episode was no longer Star Trek. That couldn't have been easy for a man who loves to make others laugh. Anyone who spent time with the actor knows how much he enjoys playing and telling a joke. Well, there indeed was on-set clowning associated with the episode. When the cameras rolled, all signs of a campy drag queen disappeared, and William Shatner disappeared into Captain Kirk, or rather, Captain Kirk as possessed by a half-crazed, power-mad female. Shatner's performance, altering the tone of his voice, his mannerisms, the range of facial expressions, even the way he stood, revealed his early theatrical training and made the episode memorable in its own unique way. When Kirk starts to behave erratically in Turnabout Intruder, McCoy insists that the captain report to sickbay for a thorough examination. The exam doesn't establish anything about Kirk's increasingly bizarre actions, but it does provide an ironic visual symmetry to the series. The first episode of Star Trek to be filmed following the two pilots, the Corbomite maneuver, was also the first to feature DeForest Kelley as Dr. McCoy. During a scene in which McCoy gives a bare-chested Kirk a stress test on what appears to be an upside-down stair climber, viewers got their first taste of McCoy's gruff but instantly likable personality and his stubborn belief that a doctor's responsibility to his patients trumps that of a chief medical officer to his captain. Yeah, and Bill had a flat stomach back then. Flash forward to the very last episode of Star Trek, and viewers find the two men poised in the same position, performing the same activities, but the mood is much darker. There's none of the humorous interplay viewers saw before. It's emblematic of the change in tone in the series itself during its third season. Nowhere so apparent as in this episode, which has absolutely none of Star Trek's trademark light moments. No funny verbal sparring between McCoy and Spock. No humorous comment from Kirk to the bridge crew as the ship heads for its next destination. The episode in the series ends as McCoy escorts an insane Janice Lester back now in her own body down the corridor, and Kirk and Spock and Scotty enter a turbo lift, presumably heading back to work. Kirk expresses regret and a bit of guilt over Lester's breakdown. Spock says something mildly reassuring. Scotty says nothing, and the door closes. And that is all the block text has to say on Turnabout Intruder. You should know, if you're at home and you're considering buying this book, and you want to have it as a keepsake so that it's worth money, please be careful opening it and reading it. But I will tell you this, I would say there are probably, I can't tell you after 3 hours of being on air, my brain's kind of goo, but I would say at least 20 pages more that talk about merchandise. So how the different spin-offs began to take shape, and the different merchandise, the stuff that really sold, and the stuff that people really loved. It talks about the comics. It has some of the most beautiful photographs of all of the merchandise that you could buy from the original series. It has a full, almost like, I would say, like chapter, considering the format of this book, just on the Mego stuff. Or, I would probably pronounce that Mego if I was just reading it, because that would be the way to say it. But it is Mego, yeah. And Mark D with a C collects the Mego, which is how I know how to say that. But yeah, it talks about the first tricorder, which I have, and just beautiful, and it has all of the gorgeous Gold Key comics, and some of the toys and just the beginning of the conventions, and original photographs from the original convention, and Jimmy Doohan sitting in a brown suit, and he looks absolutely gorgeous. He has a goatee, and he's just gorgeous, and just women dressed in all of the old costumes from the show and stuff, and the whole cast. And Nichelle Nichols getting involved with recruiting astronauts, like we spoke about, and talk of the films and the models. So we're not going to talk about that today. And I don't think we're going to cover that on this show, but I just want you to know that those are the goodies that await you if you buy this book. And so after reading it and owning it since it was published, I do have to say that I do endorse this book. I don't think it's perfect, but I do think every single self-respecting 735er, as I like to call them, should own this book. And that's all the block text has to say about anything. Clobby, what did you think of the coverage on Turnabout Intruder?
Well, interesting as always, and it's a great book, and I'm glad you used it as a reference. It's really nice, and I think I have a bit of a shock for everyone here.
What?
This is not a very popular episode, but I like it.
Oh yeah, so do I.
Like it.
I love this episode. I think it's great.
I really like it a lot. I've always liked it, and I've never understood the hate, and we're going to have a lot of hate on this one, which is fine. You hate it all you want to say. I understand some of the criticisms. Like, for example, the things I don't like in this one are the dumb stuff about, which you touched upon, which the coverage touched upon, about women not being allowed to be starship captains. He could have easily written around that, you could have written the character where that was not the case. You could have just been a raving lunatic, and that would have been fine. Nothing to do with your world. I mean, I know why it was thrown in there, but I just don't think it works for Trek. I mean, you mentioned how there were Trek captains, female captains later. There was one in Star Trek 4, which was the first time we ever saw one. And of course, Enterprise. I know it's prequel, but went back and had that as well. It just does not work for Trek. I don't think it should have been in there, because the episode would have been fine without it. Also, as I was complaining about the last episode, how with all the dumb science, this is the kind of science I don't mind. It's body swap machine, alien machine. You don't have to explain it because if they tried a dumb explanation of it, you might go, okay. But I have no problem with this machine doing this, because they don't bother explaining it. They just say it does, and it happens, just like the Guardian of Forever.
Suspend belief.
Exactly. I think Shatner's performance is not only terrific. I forget the lady's name. The lady who plays Janice Lester, when she's playing Kirk, I think does a good job as well. Really good job. I like the concept.
Sandra Smith, Captain.
Okay, there you go. Sandra Smith. I like the concept. This is the greatest of episodes. No, I think there are a few things that hurt it, but on balance, there's a lot of good character stuff in this one. Mm-hmm. The Spock mind melding with Kirk, and just automatically knowing, hey, that's Kirk, and Spock backing Kirk when everyone else was very doubtful. I don't know, the episode has a lot of entertaining elements to it, and it's again the Shatner. This is a great performance by Shatner, in my opinion. He has to play a woman, and he has to play not just a woman, a psycho.
Yep,
and he does it. I think he does it very well. People make fun of it because, yeah, it is goofy, I guess, that it's a woman inside of the body. But
really?
Shatner does it perfectly.
Really? In the 45 years I've been watching Star Trek, I have never felt like this was goofy.
No, I'm just saying. I don't know. People say. I'm just saying. I don't know. I don't think it is.
I love that you say that. I love that you say that because you're like me. You go right for the throat. You always expose the most vulnerable bits of the episode to just get it over with and to discuss it and to discuss the criticisms. And I think that's really cool. I have never heard that, but I can certainly see how somebody would play that out. But I think this is some of his finest acting. I think he finally gets to show that he's a pretty good actor here.
Yeah, it's a really good performance, and it's one of his best in my opinion. And when I mean goofy, I mean I think people on the surface, if someone says, "Hey, Shatner, switches body with a woman," and they laugh at it, and that's all people. There are a lot of episodes of Trek, that people will just say that's goofy stuff and write it off, and it becomes it enters into the cultural. I don't know if you want to say zeitgeist or whatever. That's accepted as a goofy thing in Trek, and they never delve beneath the surface. So people say, Shatner plays a woman. Oh my God, that's so corny. Well, it's not. It's actually very well done. It's an interesting story. I love it. I love a lot of the character stuff, especially with Scotty when he has the conversation with McCoy after before the vote, and he says, "I seen the captain." Was it? Where he names all these different emotional states to see the captain. Usually I get my quotes right on that one. I don't know why I'm screwing up on it, but
that's okay.
Till this day, I've never seen him red-faced with hysteria.
Yes.
That cannot be the captain. I love Scotty. Scotty has some great stuff in it. They believe in him. And I also love some of the stuff. Even it's tiny character moments always do mean something to me. And
they mean something to me as well.
And Sulu and Chekhov basically saying, "Are we going to allow an execution to take place? This is crazy." Whether it's Sulu says whether it's who, what difference does it make who it is? Are we going to allow an execution? And they'll fight, even if they have to fight security, and they disobey the orders of Janice Lester in Kirk's body. It's filled with good character stuff. This is a well-written episode. Why people don't like this one, I don't understand, and I know a lot of people don't.
Yeah, I don't understand it either, but that's the way people are. Sometimes sometimes they have certain ideas about it, and I find a lot of people are quite revisionary too. Like they're growing up, it seems as with this IP, it seems like every generation that comes along has their own opinion about it, sure. And sometimes it's positive and negative, and it is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I just oh man, I didn't know this had that kind of thing on there.
What?
Sorry, that had a word on there.
Oh,
that would trigger some people. Anyway, well, so yeah, I like it, and I guess now you have some notes?
I do, and I don't have many. I just have Shatner had the flu, and he dropped Sandra Smith and complained about her weight because she was pretty heavy, and she's a bigger girl, and unfortunately, he was so sick that he actually dropped her when he had to pick her up. The last footage of TOS is so sad. Gene regretted writing the line about the Federation not allowing, so Block covered this. Gene regretted writing the line about the Federation not allowing female captains, although fan lore has created many tales and reasons for this, as though Gene was making some profound statement about his bosses. Gene just straight up apologized for his out of character moment. The real Gene is the cage. The production crew, I guess Block already covered this too. The production crew called this episode Captain Kirk Space Queen. And yeah, so I love watching this episode every year, and I like it. I'm so sad that other people don't like it, but that's okay.
I like it. That's okay. Yeah, I've seen it beaten up on. I mean, we don't know I don't know yet what our crowd's going to say about it, but I do know one review though. We'll tell you in a minute because he had to leave. But well, number one, here we are. We're rating our last episode of the original series, and after we get done with this episode, everyone, we're gonna rate the season and then the whole show, of course.
Why do I get so emo about Star Trek?
Because we love it.
Do you know that I'm going to be honest, like, I'm not a very emotional person. Like, it has to take like death or something really seriously going wrong with somebody else. And then like, I totally feel it. But other than that, like, I'm not a very emotional person. But every time TOS ends, every single year, I feel like a little sick and a little sad in my stomach. Like, I just wish that there were more of it. I want there to be a hell of a lot more of it.
Right. And like you said, the end of this one, they didn't know it was the last one. They just thought they were going to go into year 4.
Yeah. So we didn't get a send-off. Boss, didn't you want a send-off?
A lot of shows didn't back then, though. They were never told when they were canceled. Other than The Fugitive, the classic show, The Fugitive, most shows until somewhere into like the late 70s, early 80s did not have finales because they never knew. So, yeah. So, number one, for the last time with Real Trek.
So sad.
What is your rating of Turnabout Intruder?
For me, this is a B+. I would almost give it an A-, but I'm floating in between that B+, A- by only about 1%. I just wish there were more of it. Maybe it's because I'm sentimental, but I really love this. I thought it showed that that Bill could act. And I found the performances compelling. And I think that Sandra Smith did such an amazing job in this. When she's sitting in the chair and you actually see her adjusting her knees so that she's got a little bit of man spread. I just absolutely love it, especially because, you know, her elbows are up and everything, like just her whole gait, her whole comportment is in this role and to marvelous effect, in my opinion. And it's not a perfect episode, but I love it, and I love it, and I love it. And I'm going to miss you, TOS. I love you so much.
We love you. And hey, once again, we have the same exact rating. I'm a B+.
Yeah.
I really like it. I'll always have loved this one. And yes, I mean, again, for all the reasons we mentioned, everyone. So now Sandra threw up her review early. I don't know if she was still with us because I'm way behind on my chats, everyone. I had to stop the chat so I could, when I saw Sandra had threw up her review very early there. So now I'm going to ask the chat. I don't know if you started yet because I'm way behind. I'm going to start with Sandra. Please give us your rating for that last time for Star Trek, the original series, the last episode, Turnabout Intruder. And we have Sandra Feliciano, the wonderful Sandra Feliciano. It says a C. It was just wrong seeing Kirk prancing around. But his ability to pick up the mannerisms was great.
Yes.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you there, Sandra. All right, let's see here. Give me a second to get to these, everyone.
I love the finger wag, Sandra. I love it when he does the finger wag. The finger wag is so funny.
Dee Myers, welcome.
It's a funny moment. Hey, Dee Myers is here. Welcome.
Welcome, Dee Myers. All right, let's see here. I'm trying to get to my reviews, everyone. I had to pull that because Sandra threw that one on us real early.
It's probably because she has to go sleep.
Yeah, I guess no problem at all. It's just going to take me a while to get to them now, everyone. Sorry. Bep. I'm way behind because I love our chat, and they I mean,
would you like me to do some elevator music in between?
Yeah, you can do that, man.
Do. There we
go. Well done. Well, I hope I'm at the first one. If I'm not, everyone, it's because I had to stop the chat because I saw it in a review. So I hope I'm at the first one with Phoenix Argus. Phoenix Argus says C-. Even though the acting was good and the concept was well executed, I really don't like the episode solely on the fact that it was a departure from the original pilot. Yes. Had set 1 out of 3. Oh boy, I'll get to those when I can get. Okay, no, there's another one there. The egalitarian values that Gene Roddenberry had tried to put forward, the Federation tried to pursue, and the final scene left me with a sour taste.
I love you, Phoenix.
I definitely get you. It was a bittersweet ending because it didn't. To them, it wasn't an ending; it was just a season ending. So yeah, even though this could be a jab at the executives that shot down the concept of a female in command position, it still ruined the enjoyment that could have been otherwise had. Look, I totally understand you.
I love Phoenix Argus's reviews.
Well said, indeed.
I love them. I love your comments so much, Phoenix Argus. Just your comments are always great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well done, sir. Let's see here. Let's get my next one. I'm getting there, folks. That's not it. I got to find it. Maybe I have to find a new system. There we go. Toxic Mind Flu. A+. The last show broke new ground with the first transgender Starfleet captain. Wilma Shatner has a ring to it.
It's an intriguing idea.
Oh, well, there you go.
It is an intriguing idea to be in the wrong body. It's a very intriguing idea.
Yes. Again, I thought it was pure science fiction. And again, the performances are top notch. Phantom Outsider gets a solid B. Well, that's the first one in this one, Phantom, because maybe it just looks different. Gets solid B as it unfortunately closes the door on Star Trek original series. Although there is Star Trek Continues. By the way, I don't like the Star Trek Continues sequel they did to this that much because it continued that dumb premise of a woman not being able to be a captain. Instead of just ignoring it and doing something else, they did it. I like Star Trek Continues, everyone. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I thought that was a bad decision, in my opinion. I think they should just ignore it. You remember that when you saw that one as well? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I like Star Trek Continues. I'm just saying, which should be added to the discussion next year. Although there is Star Trek Continues, which should be added to the, I like it and everything. But we're going to stick with the Trek. Phantom
Outsider. Just so you know, that's the whole idea behind this show. Was something that I do every year. I was like, hey, I do this really weird thing every year, Clobby. Do you want to do it with me? And he was like, heck yes, let's do it together. So yeah, we didn't include Star Trek Continues, not because we were curating it out of it. It was just like the impetus for this show was me telling him about my weird yearly linear watch and him going, okay, yeah, let's do it.
Well, yeah, and not only that, they're fans as well. They're just fans like we are, and so I wouldn't criticize their work or necessarily, because but again, I like it. I could disagree with things they do, or but I didn't agree with them making that episode. But I do like those guys, those people. They're not, and I've been to the set. It's fantastic. Sandra Feliciano, see again. She did another review,
but she added something to it at the end. She said it's sad Janice couldn't see her own issues kept her from being a captain. Yeah, she couldn't see it. She was nuts, and that should have been it. You should have not had that stuff about there are no female captains. It's just like she's blaming everyone for her problems, and she's nuts, and they could have just left that and made it with that. Yep,
it's crazy.
That would have been just fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Likable as C+.
But it's important for everyone here to know too that while Gene took responsibility for those comments and the way that things turned out, that there was a good reason for people to say that there was something bigger behind it. Because you have to remember, Gene Roddenberry did not write the teleplay for this episode, right? Arthur H. Singer did. So Gene only got to do his one middle finger. This was not his second middle finger. So that's a good comment. Just so you know that.
There you go. Elagabilis. We've come full C+. We've come full circle from Spock's brain to Kirk's body, the body swap trope. Yeah, at that time there wasn't as much of that going on. That was definitely used a lot in a lot of other TV shows. Neither original nor clever. Biggest studio regret debating whether to pay or not to pay Shatner.
Again, I love you.
That was used a lot later. I don't remember it being done a lot before that in TV, but there you go.
so mean. I can't believe he doesn't get anything from it. It's so rotten. Like he gets no royalties at all. It's absolutely rotten to the core.
Indeed, it absolutely is. Pat S. A, still better than the end of Enterprise. Yeah, that episode. Don't get us started. I did sob. Okay, you did sob when Kirk started to fly away and sees that Spock had spelled out goodbye in the White Rocks. And okay, yeah, you're watching you. Then laugh when Scotty wakes up and this neck. Hey, let's see. He's conflated the end of MASH with the end of Newhart.
Bob Newhart,
which I love. Newhart was a great show.
It was a very smart show. I love Bob Newhart because of how smart and fun it was.
I love the Bob Newhart show and Newhart. In fact, I like Newhart better, but the Bob Newhart show was also great. And so was Bob, by the way.
Bob I forgot there were 2.
3.
It's been a while.
There was also Bob later, which also, he was a comic book artist. It was short-lived, but it was great. I love that show.
Bob. I think I even remembered that one. My goodness. That's taking me back.
Newhart is a genius. Bob Newhart's one of the greatest comedians ever.
Yeah.
I love that guy. Brad Fisher, rating for me, B-. Thank you, Brad. Continue. Here we go. Snortopoopas. 1 of 3. B+ for Snortopoopas Cuba. The last episode always makes me sad, mostly because it's the last episode.
Yeah.
But also because I wish I had. It had been better when Shatner and Smith give great performances.
Yes.
I absolutely agree with that. Really,
hey, just another red shirt just walks through the door, boss.
Oh, just another red shirt. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you, buddy, as always. And you're more than just another red shirt to me, buddy. Let's see here. D. Bud Martin says B+. I'm with Clobby. I really like this episode because Shatner must have loved playing possessed Kirk. It's a great performance. He brought just the right amount of ham to this performance. And I mean that in a good way. Yeah, absolutely in a good way. It was really good. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no question about it. Yeah, indeed. Ryan Feliciano, B. Shatner's and Smith's acting was amazing. Decent writing. My rating of the block text, C.
Okay.
Good for the most part, but went into too many things that did not relate to the episode for my taste. Okay.
I agree. In some incidences, I agree because it's like, why did she say that? Why did we even go in that direction? And Raymond, you and I talked about that throughout the text, that there were so many juicy and wonderful things that she could have explored and she didn't.
Yeah, absolutely. Snortopoopas continues. Oh, I'm sorry.
Back one.
Continues. The last line, her life could have been as rich as any woman's. If only. Yeah, I mean, Shatner, again, after all she'd done to him, that he's back to being Kirk because he shows that compassion that Kirk does.
Yep.
Always gets me because if only it should. Yes. Yeah. Good point, sir. Good point. If it had continued under better writing, if only. Yes.
Snortopoopas!
That's so right.
Love you. So true. So very true. If only.
Oh, and you got it's. What happened? Oh, you woke up. Oh, crud! I woke up Mrs. D from laughing in the room. I'm in trouble. Oh, dude, you're in the doghouse now, bud.
Sorry, Mark.
Continuing Phantom Outsiders. The fact McCoy didn't find it odd that Kirk is doing his nails with it. And every board.
That's true, Phantom
Outsiders. As a kid, I asked, "What's that?" Dad was no idea. But you know what though? That's McCoy was there to tell him you're acting weird. So maybe he didn't single that out, but he was already there to nail him being weird. So
nail him being weird. Come on, Clobby.
Truly thought this one couldn't have been told any better. Oh, thank you, Catman. I'm with you. Now, our buddy, let's see. Here we go. Doug35 says, D, I thought the whole premise was a waste of an episode despite the good acting. Okay.
Yeah. I understand how you feel that way, Doug35.
TMF. Please stop apologizing for the chat thing. We are at show 79. I'll never stop apologizing. It's just in my nature. D- reversed And the children reverse time the children shall lead. Doug says.
D- reserved for the
reserved. Sorry.
Yes. No, it's okay, sweetheart. It's 3.5 hours later. We're not going to be perfect.
Doug, I've given some Fs, including tonight. So yeah. Including in children shall lead got an F as well. Matthew Pounder, C. No original series episode scores lower than that. Fair enough.
Oh, really? Wow, that's a great line in the sentence to draw.
So to paraphrase, Airplane 2. What's a man doing with an emery board?
In space.
At that time of night, the reason Lester could be a captain is clear. She couldn't be a captain because she was insane. Even Captain Merritt couldn't be one either.
What's a man doing with an emery board? In space.
What's an emery board?
Good one.
So I think we got all of our. Let's make sure we got all of our ratings. Okay. Scuba Pete is a B.
Okay, Scuba Pete.
Oh, by the way, Lord Thoth, everyone was a D. I should tell you.
Of course, Scrooge McDuck.
Awesome, the big Scrooge there.
LT strikes again.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. The Catman, aka
what did he say?
It's true. It's true. Hard to rate these episodes because I care about the series so much. But sometimes I feel like it needs to be done. Well, there's nothing wrong with harsh criticism. I mean, we still love it.
Totally agree. We totally agree.
It hurts. Yeah. It hurts. And there we go. Now we got the great Monica D with a C. B, 4 out of 5 Shatner's girdles. That bill is great. And convincing along with Smith. Little details like using a nail file. Yeah, I mean, that was
so funny.
It worked. Yeah, it works.
I like the finger wagging part though, where she's like,
yeah. Oh God, that was great. The scene. You will obey my orders later on the bridge. Two serious issues are examined, but I always discounted Lester's line because she washed out due to incompetence. There were female captains, and Shatner bolstered it with that. No, it wasn't. But again, there you go. But I get it. But Star Trek Continues is excellent and close to Real Trek. Yeah, I like it. Yeah. Most episodes are better than season 3 and far, far beyond. STD and P hard. In fact, I was aggravated when old Vic, and I like Vic and everything. He put on that one of those scenes from those episodes. He put a model of the filthy pizza cutter Discovery behind him, which I thought was crap of him to do that. But whatever. I like Vic. I'm just saying.
Snortaboopus, he says. Sid Shatner has admitted to wearing pantyhose when he rides horses to avoid chafing. I suspect he uses emery boards to keep from snagging his fingernails on his pantyhose. I love you. You're so funny. Oh.
I think one of the better series enders, if not the best, was Third Rock from the Sun. I've not seen that one. Like our fan, but there you go. Dee Meyer says, Clobby, want to say before the show ends, you and Raquel, true rocks. This is this and loves how much passion you both have for these great programs. Well, thank you for that. We do have the passion for it. We love it, and we know you all do too.
Yeah, we love you too, Dee Myers. You are such a great part of this community. Thank you so much for your feedback, and we appreciate you so much. Thank you for supporting us, Dee Myers, and for taking the time to give us such a nice feedback and letting us know how you feel. It means a lot to us.
Indeed. Now, everyone, we're going to give our ratings for season 3. What happened?
Nothing. I just knew what you were going to say, and it's just such a dangerous thing. I just love you, Clobby.
Oh yeah. Well, and then we're going to rate the whole series. So we're going to do this real quick, everyone. Go ahead and put up your rating for season 3, and then put it in the same comment with the series as a whole. Number 1 will give me hers, and both her rating of the season, and then the series as a whole. Then I'll give mine. But you guys go ahead and put them up there.
So I would like to say, as a communications and technology scholar and as a Star Trek fan, that I think it's wrong when corporations try to insert themselves into the relationship betwixt the audience and the author. And for that, I would like to see this corporate version of Star Trek severely punished. Given that reason and my rationale, I would just like to say that I give season 3 an F. I give it an F because I don't think that it should have been allowed to happen, because I protest what was done to 3 writers that I love very much and what was done to my IP. I love Star Trek. Star Trek is A++, the greatest thing I've ever watched on television, and I love it, and I'll continue to watch it for the rest of my life. But what happened in season 3 should have been a lesson to people as they went forward in how to handle an IP, and they didn't learn, and that's how we wound up with the modern filth. So let this be a testament to what happens when you let that kind of garbage happen.
Absolutely, and I'm exactly of the same line there. I give it season 3 an F, but I give, and nevertheless, I give the entire series, which is one of the greatest things ever made in the history of mankind, of course, an A+++++++. I love the show that much, and that's how great it is. It can't even be hurt by that F season, because At least season 3 moved up the syndication package to the point where we were allowed to get, it was allowed to flourish in syndication. So there's that going for it. Let's see here. Captain Cockney Spock gives season 3 A+. Okay. Let's see here. Elagabalus. Season 3 equals C. Original series A.
That's an excellent rating, sir.
A, absolutely. Let's see here. Damn, Captain Cockney's like, well, what's it? The worst OST? Only Trek? Any other Trek show? What? Damn. Well, in my opinion, the worst OST is better than any. I always forget that symbol means people use. It's any better than any other Trek show. Well, yeah, I'm with you there. I'm with you there, sir. Stortopubis, season 3 overall D, because although they did manage to put out some decent episodes, they were few and far between, ignoring established character development. It was all too common.
Yes. Thank you, Snortopupus.
Season 3, let's see. Season D. Damn, mostly bad. I agree with Raquel. Keep corporations out. Series A++++. It started a phenomenon. Absolutely.
Love you, Raymond.
Season 3C, corporations and governments need to stay out of the arts.
Yeah, love
Series A. It was an inspiration to a little girl just starting to explore the possibilities.
Amen, sister. Love you. That is just great. The Felicianos, the great Felicianos. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Indeed. Season 3 an A- for Matthew Pounder.
Okay.
Let's see here. Doug 35. Season 3 a B-, and the series an A+. Absolutely.
Excellent.
With you. Adam Outsider. Must disagree. Season 3 gets a C, so that they get syndication plus. Well, I did say that. At least we got that, but it still sucks. There is enough memorable moments to justify the C. A for the series as a whole, and there are good episodes in it, and I gave them accordingly. I just as an entire season, so much bad, so much terrible, so much corporate crap. As a season, it's only, aside from some good episodes, the only thing it accomplishes was get us the syndication package.
Yeah, Phantom Outsider at 30 minutes past the hour. He says, without syndication, there wouldn't have been no phenomenon. Got to have the shows airing to get people to see them. Yeah, Phantom Outsider, I think you've misunderstood what Clobby said, because that's exactly what Clobby said. He said, it was a means to an end, and we feel so happy that we were able to get it to syndication. Otherwise, a lot of people wouldn't have found out about it, and certainly given the technology at the time, a lot of people wouldn't have been able to watch it. So, it happened, and it's sad, but yes, Clobby is that is Clobby's opinion. Phantom Outsider.
Oh yeah, we don't disagree on that.
No, you
Outsider.
don't.
We don't disagree on that. It's just that I just think as a body of work, it's really, really damaged inside of some good stuff. And again, just like I like the last episode, so I do like a lot of episodes. But anyway, season Scuba Pete. Season 3 rating C, series A plus 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 plus. I don't want to leave TOS, but don't make me go. So like the 10th Ultra, I don't want to go.
Scuba Pete!
The Scuba Pete.
Love you.
At least we're going ahead together. That's right. Love you guys. Love you too, Stephen. Scuba Pete. Sorry. Yeah. Love you. Appreciate you so much. Let's see here. I will easily say Broad Thunderheart. I will easily say A plus, just because they still tried. I understand how season 3 became a precursor to. I'm not even going to mention it. Fair enough.
That is very wise, Broad Thunderheart.
C, indeed. B minus season 3. Some standout episodes, but let down by some writing that didn't fit the characters.
Agreed.
We still have fantastic characters with great moments sprinkled among the clunkers.
Mark D, so much heart. We love you, Mark.
Indeed. Pat S, B minus, season 3, A plus to the series as a whole. Yeah. A plus to a bunch of other A pluses. Wonderful. There. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us on it, Pat. And I love your comments.
T. Bud Martin, yes indeed. Season 3C, there were some good episodes mixed in with the drivel. TOS A. Do I need to say more? I still remember seeing Doomsday Machine when it was first shown after 50 plus years. Yes, absolutely.
Love it.
Love it. Let's see here. Sort of Poopas. Overall, TOS A plus, because it was a fine concept that was usually well done. The ship was beautiful. The characters were all of it.
Well, all of it. Yeah.
Let's see. Catman. Claudia, I agree with what you and Raquel had to say about it overall. I would say D plus overall. Okay. Corporations true need to stay. Yeah, truly need to stay out of the out if they continue to miss
mess. I think.
Oh, mess. This miss. It says miss it.
Miss it.
Miss it. Oh, very, and have never learned their lesson.
Learned their lesson. Yeah.
I type the same way. Don't worry about it.
Texting is so hard.
Yeah, I'm not. You see when I text.
I know mine's terrible too, and then there's autocorrect and autocomplete, and then that just makes it worse.
Absolutely. Well, let's see here. And Raymond says I was 6 when the pilot came out, and despite my dad hating it, inspired a 6 to 8 year old boy to try to seek out his dreams. Yes, dating. Hey, look, Star Trek inspired so many people. That's why I gave them a C for season 3. It was corporate and a lot of lame, but C is average, as in the otherwise excellent Star Trek limped across the syndication finish line. That's all we can expect.
What a great way to say it. Star Trek limped across the syndication.
It sure did that.
Finish.
Well
That's
said,
a great
buddy.
way. That's a great way of saying it.
Indeed. Mark D with the C, A plus plus plus. TOS means the series, of course, groundbreaking series that changed pop culture and gave us important social messaging, along with groundbreaking sci-fi concepts. Amazing that we got such a forward-looking writing. We got such a forward-looking in the 60s. That is absolutely what's so phenomenal about it. Cotton Sucks, Claudia and Raquel do drop by the Cotton Spock channel sometime. I've popped in and listened many times, sir. Yes, and thank you for that. B, bunch of pluses for TOS.
For TOS. Dee Myers, can I ask, is that because you're a TNG fan? What is your A plus plus? May I please ask Dee Myers? What is your A plus plus in this IP, like in Star Trek proper? I'm just curious. You don't have to share, but I'd love to know.
Yeah. Oh no, I got you, Phantom Outsider. We got you where you were coming from.
Yeah, we know exactly where you're coming from. Great comments tonight, Phantom Outsider. Don't you worry, we got your back.
A valued clobberer.
Yeah.
All right. I guess. Let's see. Hey, Dee, don't worry about that. We all do it.
Oh yeah.
You're good,
Dee,
man.
Everybody.
I apologize for the way I botched up everybody's messages. So there you go. Season 3 gets an F.
Yep.
The stories were awful and more often than not poorly thought out. Well, that's so true. With things that needed explanation weren't and those that didn't need further explanation got explained. 1 of 3. That is so true.
God, I love this human, this Phoenix Argus human. I love this person.
There we go. While the series gets a solid A for setting the standard and the groundwork for true forward-thinking and inspiring people to pursue science and engineering. Absolutely. Good night, Liger fan. Thank you for being here.
Night, Liger.
Season 3 is a blight on the series and should serve as a lesson to not let the corporations get involved in an IP, as they can't help but reveal their perverse and hedonistic views. That is well said.
Oh, Phoenix Argus nailed it.
Nailed and nailed and nailed. Well done indeed. Thank you, Captain Cotton Buck. I appreciate that. Absolutely, we appreciate that invite. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you. What's that? Star Trek is giving us CLOBBERIN, so hail to hail CLOBBERIN. All right, well, I guess let's see here. Pat asks, how come in the ship's controls look all analog and bulky in TOS, but in Enterprise, the girls look all digital and flat, and that's because it was made 30 years later, man. That's why it probably wasn't a good idea to do this. Even though I love Enterprise, doing a prequel is always going to get you in that kind of trouble. What are you going to do?
It's problematic unless you can do it to a degree where you can suspend belief, because in science fiction, we talk about that as authors, and it's a very delicate balance of creating just enough advancement so that people don't find it quirky or campy or unbelievable, but not move it so far ahead that people feel like you've betrayed the original IP, which is why Clobby and I think that prequels are stinky.
Yeah, prequels are not. I mean, I love Enterprise, by the way. We've defended it so many times, but I still can, even in that, can go, yeah, maybe they shouldn't do a prequel, but they did it, and I thought they did a wonderful job with great characters. But that's just me. Not everyone agrees. It's, yeah. And so now, everyone, as you can see, before we close up, and we're going to say our goodbyes in a second. Next week, the great Ace Cast Iron.
Ace Cast Iron's here.
Yo,
hi.
Buddy. Thanks for popping in, bro. It's been a while, bud. Love you, man. Good to see you. I hope you're doing great, buddy.
Yes, Dee Dee Myers, that is what I asked. Thank you. Mwah, mwah. That's all I wanted to know. Thank you so much.
Okay. What? Oh, Tuesday. Okay. Let's see. Dee Dee Myers says, I love the TOS Next Generation CS9. The Enterprise Voyager was okay, but not. Yeah, that's cool. Not everyone loves the original the best. Hey, not late at all, bro. Just glad to see you, buddy. But
we're just happy
for me, look, original series is my favorite, and it's not even close, really. But I've grown to love and respect those other ones to various degrees. I love Enterprise. Actually, grew, in spite of bad things that have happened recently, grew to really, really start liking Next Generation far more than I did when it first came out. And I love Deep Space Nine, and I like some things about Voyager here and there. Katie, please forgive me because I have interest. I don't love it, but I like some of it here and there. So I love all of real Trek, legit Trek, to varying degrees. But we all have the ones we like and ones we don't, So whatever your favorite is, it's fine. So anyway, so next week begins the second phase in our ongoing mission to review all of the 735. In other words, all of Star Trek, legit real Trek 66 through 05. And my wonderful first officer and I, this is the book that will be your guide, correct?
This is the guide. This is the book that I chose for this because I feel that this is the most reliable that you could choose from. And, we've talked about this quite a bit. And some of you have gone off and done a bunch of research and come back and sort of said to me in private, I didn't realize that there are so many books that are written by fans that have gotten published, and a lot of them have inaccurate information. So I picked this book based on this gentleman. Okay, so it's one fan, and then it is a journalist. I can't remember. I just read his bio, but he actually went about the business of interviewing David Gerald, Bob Klein, Fred Bronson, like everyone who was involved in the animated series. And so because he's involved with this, and he's vetted the material and gone in and gone behind the scenes and gotten information. This is why I chose this book above all. Also, you should know that this book has made an official claim that it has new interviews with writers and animators, so the people who are involved with TAS, rarely and never before seen interviews from Gene Roddenberry. That's another reason why I picked it. Behind the scenes production documents, and we'll show those. Clobby and I will talk about them pre-show, and maybe we'll show some of those to you without breaking any or breaching any copyright, and never before seen art. This is an encyclopedia that has new and updated listings of, just various things that are happening in the fandom. It has a full list of bloopers, and it also talks a great deal about canon. So this is why I vetted this book. I also could not find any negative reviews. So some of you came to me, as I said, behind the scenes and said, wow, I didn't realize, that some of these books have a lot of negative reviews because there's false information in them. I want you to know that I did not find that with this book when I researched it. So many of you know that I'm a communications and technology scholar, and part of what I do is edit and peer review. And this one, I think, passes the sniff test. I haven't read it. I'm going to be reading extemporaneously from it. And if Clobby would like to, Clobby may also extemporaneously read from it, or he can rehearse it and practice it if he likes. But the thing is Clobby went out and bought this book as well. So if you're into TAS, I want you to know that, like the block text, I have vetted this. It's not going to be like an exhaustive look at it, but I mean, it's pretty close, especially given the format we're exploring in this show. So at the beginning of this show, I used to make a billion mistakes when I was reading to you guys, because not only did I didn't pre-read the book, but I was like reading faster than I've ever read, like as if I were an auctioneer. And then that's when all of you came back and said to me, look, you can slow down. We actually love listening to you read. So that's when I was like, oh, okay, I'll slow down then and let's read this all together. Well, that said, it's still very important that the book have summaries, right? So that we can get through production stuff, and we could talk a little bit about this, about what happened in the episode, so that if people want to join us and they haven't watched the episodes, they can feel like they're still a part of the show and they have enough information to be intrigued, tickled pink, amused, and be able to participate in the chat. So that's what we're trying to achieve with these books. Summary, get to the meat, reveal some stuff that people didn't previously know. And I think that we can achieve that with this book. And how about you, Clobby?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we can. I think it's a really cool book. I haven't got a chance to read much of it yet, but I love it. So far, I'm glad I got it. And I would have got it even if we weren't doing a show on it. I think if we talked about it, and I think we did mention it a little bit. So it's great. I'm looking forward to it. Everyone, look, this is, we're moving on. I hope, look, I understand that not everybody watches all the same things. So I don't know how many of you have seen the animated series. I've seen some things in the chat. Some people only like original Trek. Hey, look, those of you saying that, look, I got a lot of friends like that. So they're not interested in some of the other Treks. That's fine. I know people like that, but I used to kind of be that way myself for a long time. But I have embraced it all now, even though the original is my favorite. The original crew is my favorite. But I hope you will all join us for the animated series next week.
There are only 22, folks.
Only
just
22
so you know.
We could knock them out quick. We will knock them out quick.
Yep, and just so you know, it will be very brief. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Captain, but if what Clobby is saying is true, and it is true, in especially with the older fans, usually TAS marks pretty low on their favorites. I just want you to know there are only 22 episodes of it. It's going to be very technical. We're going to be talking about all the great stuff that you really, really love. So how DC Fontaine Fontana and Gene Roddenberry got together and they decided to explore things that they could not have done because we didn't have CGI and things like that. So even if you haven't given the TAS a chance, I encourage you to do so. We're going to blow through it really quick, but we're going to make it so interesting and fun. And I know you're going to have a good time.
I think it's on Netflix. Everyone, if you're a Netflixer, or you can find it other ways, of course. I have the Blu-rays, but it is on Netflix. But so yeah, Elagabalus there. There's Raquel said they're 22, so won't take long, and they're 20 something, like 21 minutes, 22 minutes.
They're very fast.
Yeah, they're very short. This Roddenberry created it. And, all the original cast, aside from Walter Koenig, did the voices of their characters. Yeah. And I think that's some great stories.
And it's very important to know, too, that I have in my hot little hands, I don't know where the heck it is in my stuff, but you all at home need to know that, and Clobby knows this as well, DC Fontana and Gene Roddenberry co-wrote a letter where they were infuriated by the idea that people would believe that TAS was written for children. They were emphatic and infuriated in this letter. So don't think that the content will be for children, okay? I hope that I've helped you to sell it as much as possible, Clobby.
Oh, yeah. Well, look, it was on Saturday mornings. It was Lou Scheimer's Filmation, and it had limited animation and all that kind of stuff, but it did not talk down. Yes, it had a kid audience, because that's what everyone thought Saturday morning cartoons were, and they were back then. And that's one of the great things about the show is it had that. It was that young audience, because that's the viewership that it aired in, and yet it does not talk down to anyone. And old, adult fans of the series could watch it and enjoy it as well, and kids, of course, would watch it because it was on Saturday morning. And it's wonderful. So yeah, I love it. It has its better episodes like anything else, and it's not as but yeah.
Anything else you could say, Captain? Like, think about it. Like, how you and I, we always try and anticipate why people would be hesitant, and we inform them. So yeah, it ranks low. Some people think it's for kids. Some people can't watch it. It's not available. I think we just about covered everything.
Yeah.
So can you think of anything else?
No, it's good. Like I say, we just hope you all enjoy. I hope we still have as many people who want. Dadman Walking, good to see you.
Hey, hello.
I hope everyone will join us for the animated series like you have for this one. And those who aren't into it, we understand. But I hope we'll get a good crowd for that, and we're going to do it because we're doing all a Trek. So we hope you are interested in it, and because again, we've just done original series, and at least we're still. With this and then the movies after that, we're still staying with that great original cast. So we're still spending time with them at least. And that's the thing. So,
hey, boss man, Phantom Outsider said, how many episodes are we going to do per show? And I think that's a great question.
I was going to get with you afterward, but if you want to hash it out now, they're all, we were doing 4 till this past 2 weeks of the original series. These are less than half as long. They're 22 minutes or something. If you want to knock out 8 per episode, it would take 3 weeks to do it. Or if you want to make it a little less, like we could do it over a month, or we could do it over 3 weeks. What do you think?
I think we should try and do it over 3 weeks. What do everyone in the chat? What do you think? Because I want you to know that this book categorically goes through different things. So we have a pretty big audience here, and some of you just participate in the podcast. Some of you don't participate in the live chat. We have some people here who are professional animators, some people who really love comics, and this book it has many categories. So we can just discuss the content, and we can give ratings on it, and we can just read from those sections, or we can go a little deeper into it. So if you feel like you want to have a voice in that, and you want to reach out to Clobby and ask the boss man to cover maybe some of the animation or something, go ahead and do that. But for right now, I think we should be able to blow through this in 3 weeks, boss man.
If you wanted, so look, I was going to suggest it, but I was open to other. I was going to say 8 each week, and that's no mathematician, but that would be 3 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So if you're game for 8, because again, you're the one doing the real research. If you're game for 8, I am.
Yeah, 8 is a lot for me to watch on that day, but
I never watch them on that day. I watch them throughout the week, but I hear you. Like Saturday, I don't watch them.
Oh, I don't know. 8's a lot, isn't it?
Well,
No wonder
look,
you wanted to. No wonder you wanted to talk to me after when we were off air, and then I brought it up here. Okay,
yeah. I mean, that's
I'll give it some
you
thought.
and I we'll make the decision, and I'm sure if everyone wants to do it more, 3 weeks. We'll figure it out, everyone. That's why I was going to talk to you after, but we'll see.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're smart.
You do more research than I do. I can knock out 8 through a week and no problem because I don't do it on Saturday. Yeah. So we'll figure it out, everyone. But anyway, we'll say our goodbyes real quick because we've had you here for a long time, all of you. We appreciate you. We're getting close to the 4 mark. So
yeah.
we want to do this. We'll say our goodbyes really quickly. First, one show note Monday night for any of our comics fans out there. Monday night, Mark C. Comic Talk.
Yeah.
The wonderful, beautiful Purple Valkyrie will be joining me. It's our second part of our Bring on the Bad Guys, talking about comic book supervillains, 8 p.m. Central. So we are looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And tomorrow, I don't know exactly sure what time, if it's going to be air live or not, because I can't get an answer on that yet. But in the morning, I'll be doing a show with the Spacebook chaps, Dan and all those guys, and about Blake 7, which I love very much. I'm so excited about that. And then my good buddies, Jed and the Pop Culture Archivist, Jed, Mark D with a C, and Ash and Retro Dicky will be on at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern time for a stream. We don't know what's going to go on there, but it will be fun. So check those out, everyone. And now let me say our goodbyes. Of course.
Oh, Snortapoopus, I love you.
No crying.
I love you. Snortapoopus! Huber. I love you.
Well, that'll be our first goodbye then. Snortapoopus, have a wonderful night. We appreciate you very much, my good friend Snortapoopus. Thank you so much.
Hysterical human being. Hysterical bear, I mean.
Indeed, you're a good bear. And we thank you all so much. Elagabillis, also a great friend. We thank you for being here so much. The great Phantom Outsider. Yeah. Appreciate you so much, my friend.
Yay,
thank you. We've made so many good friends. Our extraordinary Felicianos, Raymond and Sandra. We love you. Yes, thank you so much for being here. The great Scuba Pete, is always good to see you, my friend.
Scuba Pete! I love you, and I missed you last week.
Indeed. The great Lord Thoth, whether you're still here or not, you get a mention because we love you all. We would like to mention everyone. The great Lord Thoth was here, my brother. Yes, appreciate
LT.
you.
Long live the Legion.
The men, absolutely. And Avon lives. Long live Legion, buddy. The great Mark D with a C, my friend. As always, a pleasure, buddy. Mm-hmm. Ash was here earlier. He had to run out, but great friend Ash, we love you, man. Janet from another planet. I don't know if you're still with us, but we really appreciate you being here. Yes. It was wonderful to see. We hope you will return.
Enjoyed your company. Thank you for stopping by.
Absolutely. The great D-Bud Martin, my buddy. It's good to see you, sir. Thank you so much. Obviously, longtime, fantastic, amazing old friend, the great Steve Mitchum, buddy.
Yeah, Steve
appreciate
Mitchum.
You being here, my friend.
Yes. Kiss Maddie for me.
J-Man had to run out, but the great J-Man, my new buddy, appreciate you. By the way,
so much fun.
By the way, everyone, there are links to his and many other fine channels in my chat, in my my description below, and also there's this link right here to the wonderful literary science fiction works of the amazing First Officer of Mine, RAQUEL Briggs, and there's a link to that, by the way.
Thank you, Captain.
The extraordinary Chris Persia.
Chris Persia.
You're the man, buddy. The great Pat S., my good buddy, Pat. Always appreciate you, bud.
Yes, you were sensational tonight. Thank you so much.
Indeed, the great Rod Thunderheart as well.
Rod Thunderheart.
Thank you, buddy. It's always good to see you. Brad Fisher, thank you for being here, my friend.
And thank you so much for your comments.
Always. We really love everyone's participation. You're all fantastic. Liger fan had to run, I believe, but
yeah, thanks for being here.
He had to run earlier, but he's still such a great buddy. My good buddy, Problem being there, so I'd call him Probby.
Probby
Clobby. Yeah, buddy. He popped in earlier. Don't know if he's still here, but he's a good bud. Iron Caster. Hell,
yes, he was great.
No one popped in, but no one is someone to me. So no one.
Oh,
thank you.
Very good.
Doug 35, thank you for being here tonight.
Yes, thank you so much.
Appreciate
Yeah.
you. Mark the Infinite Tired, my good buddy, popped in earlier. Great to see you, bud. You're probably gone now, but I don't know. It might not be.
Who? I'm sorry?
Mark the Infinitely Tired. Hey, old buddy.
Oh, yes, Mark the Infinitely Tired. Sorry, I read the chat while you guys are talking, and I try to listen to Clobby. I do apologize.
No problem. Oh, Tim Possible was here earlier, my bud. Thank you for popping in. The beautiful and magnificent and wonderful friend of ours, the great Katie Carr, was here. Katie Carr, we love you, Katie. I know she had to run out already, but we have a new person popping in at the last minute there. Kal-El. I like that name, Kal-El.
Very
Kal-El
cool
48. Good to see you. Thank you for being here.
Hey, just caught the last half hour of the live stream, and it was really awesome. Have a great night. You are such a nice person. Mwah, mwah.
Thank you, Kal-El. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. The great Dave Bob popped in earlier, my good buddy, and another of our fellow Louisianians. Apollonie's minion had to go, but we love you, Apollonie's. And Pupper. We love you and Pupper. Septic Stream was in earlier, a new friend, and I don't know if you're still here, SS, but we appreciate you so much. We thank you for your participation. It's always great to make new friends here.
Interesting name because a very, very clean person.
Very cleanly done now. The great Canadian Spider-Man who does whatever a Canadian spider can was here.
Hope you had fun tonight, Steve. We missed you here the last couple of weeks. I know you've been busy, probably working, but we missed you, and I was very happy to see you.
Indeed, indeed. Phoenix Argus, we really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
So good tonight. Just your comments are just getting ridiculously good. I just love them. I love them.
Well done. Zathras was here tonight. Zathras do. Yeah. There you go. Thank you, Zathras.
Good to see you.
Appreciate you.
Gonna break my Babylon 5 virginity here right away.
I hope so. I can't wait for that. Toxic Man Flu, we always appreciate you, my friend.
DMF.
Indeed, indeed. Captain Cockney Spock, good to have you pop in, my friend. Thank you. Thank you so much for dropping in, sir. We appreciate it. My wonderful friend, Wonder Woman, as I call her, that's her code name. She knows who she is. I don't know if she's still listening, but I love you out there, Tony.
Nice.
And I gave her a real name, but she is Wonder Woman. Matthew Pounder, welcome.
Yes.
I mean, not welcome. Well, welcome too, but thank you is what I meant.
Yes, good night, and thank you for being here.
Dee Myers, appreciate you being here.
Yes, thank you so much. And your comments tonight, just such great comments and interactions. Thank you so much, Dee Myers.
Indeed, just another red shirt. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
It was good to see you.
The great Ace Caster, and I love you, brother. I'm just glad you popped in, man. No matter how long you did, it don't matter, but I'm just glad you did. But
I love Ace, and you know what I miss?
Ace is a great friend.
NCC
his ratings, NCC ratings.
Yeah, I love him.
Absolutely. And finally, Dead Man Walking 55 popped in, the scariest avatar on YouTube.
Yeah.
Great to see you.
Yes.
And great to see you all. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope we will see you all pop in next week for as we start our new chapter. We continue our voyage to explore all of real Star Trek, and that will be the animated series. And now I will play you out with this fantastic intro outro, which of course was made by our amazing first officer. And of course, with some technical assist to get it up here, the great, if you'll pardon the pun, the great Mark D with a C.
Yay!
Good night, everyone, and trek on and clobber on.